Welcome to Reno, Nevada for Colorado Silver Bullets baseball. Tonight at Moana Municipal Stadium, it's the Colorado Silver Bullets to face the Reno Diamonds. Hi everyone, I'm Bill Land along with Julie Croteau, and glad to have you with us on a gorgeous night for baseball here in Reno as the Bullets take on the Reno Diamonds. The Bullets starting the West Coast portion of their season. They come in 7-23. This is a ball club that has dropped its last two, but overall they've split their last six and continue to show signs of improvement.
Sure, this team has improved dramatically, not only in their win-loss record, but you see here some numbers. What a difference between the 1994 and 1995 season, especially in the ERA. You see it's dropped considerably. I think that's due to a year experience and a much deeper bullpen.
Had a chance to visit with one of the players, Michelle McInerney, one of the veterans on this Silver Bullet team. She remembers how long 94 was, how much better 95 has been, and says it's more than the numbers as far as improvement is concerned.
We need to work on the little things. You know, we're not going to hit home runs. You know, we might get an extra base or two, but we need to work on the little things, the fundamental things, picking people off, being in the right cutoff positions, getting a good lead off, things like that. And I think we're really improving on those things.
Well, those little things could really make the difference tonight. This Reno ball club comes in with a record of 44-8, and they are tough.
They are loaded, Bill. Let me tell you, on a team this good, it's hard to find someone who stands out. But we have in Tommy Mitchell, whose brother Kevin Mitchell, as many players know, he is El Fuego, on fire. He leads this team in every offensive category there is.
So Mitchell and the Diamonds take on the Silver Bullets tonight. We'll be back with the starting lineups in the first pitch. Stay with us from Reno.
He makes a one.
Welcome back to Moana Stadium in Reno, Nevada. A perfect night for baseball. Temperatures in the 90s earlier, but things will cool off quickly and dry conditions as the Silver Bullets take on the Reno Diamonds. Bill Land and Julie Croteau with you here, and we're ready to take a look at some of the pregame ceremonies. Interesting, as Martha Puckett is the owner of this team, of the Reno Diamonds, and they're an unusual organization, and only fitting that the Silver Bullets going against a team that a gal is in charge of.
It's a great story, Bill. Actually, the Silver Bullets left last year, and Martha Puckett started off a semi-pro team, which would run like a minor league team. So it's a community-based baseball organization.
Yeah, it says the Reno Diamonds baseball, a professionally organized baseball
Right.
club. You're looking at the starting pitcher, Shake Cooper. He is also the manager of this club and assistant general manager of the organization. That's a full-time job, believe me. He's getting his first start of the year, but he's got some previous major or minor league experience. And the lineup for the Silver Bullets tonight: Michelle McInerney leads it off, playing second. Angie Marzetta, the right fielder, batting second. Stacy Sonny playing third, batting third. Pam Schaffrath in the cleanup spot in left field. Tamara Ivy, the first baseman, batting number 5. Kara Kogenauer, batting number 6, the DH, followed by Kim Bratz in center field. And Tony Heisler, the shortstop, and Shannon Kimberling bats 9 and is the catcher. And here's the leadoff hitter. McInerney fouls off the first pitch from Shake Cooper. Michelle McInerney, who leads the team in walks, got an average of 207, has 34 walks in the Bullets' 30 games this year.
Well, that statistic is worth noting, Bill, because last year she held the record for walks for the entire Silver Bullet team, and it was 32 walks. So with 15 games left to go, she's already shattered that record.
Cooper catches the corner, and it's a 1-2 count on Michelle McInerney. Michelle out of Cal State Northridge. For so many of the Bullets who either played college softball on the West Coast or they're bringing out here, this is kind of the home part of their trip, as the Bullets actually play no road games. They call the 2 games they played at Coors Field as being home games this year, but 7-21 on the road, 0-2 at home, if you will. But be interesting as this team travels around. You get a chance to meet some of the family members, and surely a lot more will be here, as after here they head to Oakland and play some teams in California.
Well, it's been really nice for the Bullets because almost everyone on this team has some affiliation with California, whether they're out of California or they were born there. And so a lot of these players have not seen their friends, their family for 4 months. So this is a special homecoming for them.
Cooper has got a full count on the leadoff hitter McInerney, and caught the bat, so they'll try it again. Tough break for Michelle as she tried to hold up and fouls it off instead.
Well, there are a lot of obstacles that the Silver Bullets face. Just learning the game, having to travel from city to city, never having a home field, not getting to take the extra cuts they need. The travel is one thing that really is hard for the Bullets because there's no grounding. You can't go home, you can't sleep in your bed. It's very difficult.
Ball 4, McInerney's aboard. Here's a look at the Diamond defense. Out in left field is Harley Enochson. In center is Jerry Torres. In right, Andy Kosman. From third to first, it's Tommy Mitchell, Jeff Lawrence, Mike Bosco, and Mike Crown. Behind the plate is Eric Marino. And Cooper goes to work again here after issuing a walk. His only start of the season, this team at 44-8. Shake does play a little bit of infield for this ball club. And he goes to work now on Angie Marzetta, who has been red hot. She's lifted her average to 241, got 5 RBIs on the season. Angie moving up in the order to the number 2 slot this evening for manager Phil Niekro.
Angie's done an outstanding job. Her batting average has shot up 47 points in one game. She was 4 for 5 in Geneva, Illinois.
Fouled off here as McInerney was going on the pitch. Cooper has somewhat of a deliberate release and delivery, and opportunity for the Bullets maybe to get their running game going tonight. I think they realize in this game that they can come out as many games they've played in many different teams they've played, Julie, and you so well know being a part of the club last year, that they can watch a team warm up anymore and pretty well have an idea what kind of night they're in for. And I got the feeling tonight that Joe Niekro was saying that, hey, these guys are going to be strong, and the message was you're going to have to take advantage of every opportunity. You got to walk. Let's see if you can't get her to second base and get her in a scoring opportunity.
You're right. The Bullets have to play flawless baseball. They have to take advantage of every flaw that the other team gives them.
Cooper looking over with a soft toss just to keep Marzetta close. And if you think Shake Cooper, you see the smile on his face, is taking this game lightly. It is anything but. He said other than the birth of his child, who is now 13 years old and a baseball player, he said this is the biggest thrill in his life. Shortstop Lawrence to Bosco and over to first for the double play. And there's a look at the outstanding defense of the Diamonds as Marzetta hits into the DP.
Marzetta has been hitting very well for the team. She's someone I love to hit because in general she will get on base.
Yeah, tough break, hit the ball sharply, but nicely handled by Lawrence and Bosco. And there's 2 down as the Bullets come up with Stacy Sonny now.
And Marzetta's trailing Sonny for the lead in batting average, and Sonny says she can feel her on her heels and she's going to do everything possible to stay in that lead spot.
And Sonny drops one out into center field, so the Bullets have another runner aboard. Stacy Sonny.
Sonny is just an incredible athlete. She has extraordinary bat control, and she's a very smart hitter. See here, great control. She really stayed back and kept her hands back, maintained a good approach to that ball. Solid single.
So Sonny rather adds to her leadership total as far as hits, 21st of the year, and bumps that average a bit. Now leading off first with Pam Shafrath, left fielder, a 187 hitter with 9 RBIs up for the Bullets. 2 down. Double play got Cooper out of a bit of a jam earlier, and now he's trying to get out of the inning here.
We had a shot.
Good crowd on hand here tonight in Reno. A little skip and rope that time for Pam, and it's 2-0 to Shafrath. They sold 2,000 tickets in advance, another 1,000 sold, and some still being sold right now as people have filled the park here. Cooper makes the play, and that ends the inning. So the Bullets get a walk and a base hit, but unable to take advantage of it. They leave one. We played a half inning with no score in Reno. The Silver Bullets and the Reno Diamonds. Silver Bullets had a little going, but get nothing to show for it in the top of the first, and now the Reno Diamonds get their first look at Pamela Davis as the Bullets go out on the field for the first time. And here's Pam Davis out of Mayfield Heights, Ohio, now lives in Tampa, Florida. Record of 2-4.
Pam's a great pitcher. She's the youngest pitcher on the Bullet staff, so therefore has a lot more to develop than some of the older pitchers. But she has a great repertoire. She throws a fastball, curveball, nasty biting slider, and a change. She says her change is not her best pitch, but that she adds it to her arsenal just to let the guys know that she has it.
And the lineup she faces, Jerry Torres leads off for the Diamonds in center field. Batting second is Mike Bosco, the second baseman. Batting third, playing right, Andy Kosman. Batting in the cleanup spot is Tommy Mitchell, the third baseman. Eric Marino is the catcher, batting number 5. In the number 6 hole will be Brian Madison, the DH. The number 7 hitter is Harley Enochson, the left fielder. Number 8 hitter, Mike Crown, playing first base. And playing short and batting ninth is Jeff Lawrence. Leading things off, Jerry Torres hitting .336 with 1 home run and 23 RBIs. And Davis, who will turn 21 next month. First pitch misses for ball 1. There's a look at the defense behind her. It is Shafrath, Bratz, and Marzetta from left to right, and from third to first, Stacy Sonny, Tony Heisler, Michelle McInerney, Tamara Ivy at first. Behind the plate is Shannon Kimberling, and on the mound again is Davis, and strike 1. A 1-1 count to Torres.
Now Davis is normally a little wild in the beginning. She has 3 wild pitches and 5 hits batsmen, all of which have been in her first 2 innings of work. But I talked to Joe Niekro, and he said she really calms down after that first inning or so and throws a good game for us. If
you saw the telecast from up in Michigan on the 26th of last month, that was her last start and lost to the Kalamazoo Yankees. She went 6 2/3 innings, gave up 7 hits, allowed 4 runs, only 2 earned though. Walked 4 and struck out 1. And she's even 2-2 on Jerry Torres.
I'll tell you, she's really going to have her work cut out for her tonight. The Reno Diamonds, have a team average of .356. They are definitely a team of hitters.
This club's averaging 10 runs a ball game. Upstairs, and 3-2 to the leadoff hitter Torres, to be followed by Mike Bosco.
Not only are they averaging 10 runs, but they're also coming off a 5-game winning streak. And they had a streak earlier in the season of 15 games.
44-8 for the year. Here is the full count delivery. Popped up, not much room in foul territory, and this one out of play on the roof. And we'll try it again. You see the great crowd here in Reno. This is a big weekend. A lot of classic autos on the streets. It's like going back in time when we arrived here yesterday. Hot August nights is the theme. A lot of 50s, 60s music going on. A great weekend in Reno, Nevada. And the Bullets are part of the festivities, and a big crowd here to watch them. Ball 4, and Torres is aboard. So Pam Davis walks the leadoff hitter. Let's take a look at the motion of Pam Davis.
You'll see Pam has a very high leg kick, and she says that is just a timing mechanism for her. That in fact, it doesn't serve any purpose as far as adding velocity.
Mike Bosco, the next to face Davis. Bosco, a .318 hitter with 1 home run and 20 RBIs.
Now Bosco leads his team in triples, and he's tied for second in doubles.
See the very wide open stance of Bosco in looking for the outside corner, and the breaking ball gets it for strike 1.
Now in general, a wide stance indicates that he wants that ball in the inside corner. He wants to pull the ball, but a lot of times it's deceptive. A hitter knows that a pitcher will look for that, so if he wants the outside pitch, he may start wide and then close up and go the other way.
Bosco second on the team in triples with 4. He's also got a dozen doubles, working on a teaching degree at the University of Nevada here in Reno. We're in the bottom of 1, no score. Diamonds have the leadoff man aboard. Bullets had 2 runners aboard, but a double play hurt him. Here's another shot to the shortstop, and a double play for the Bullets. Heisler to Ivy, and that takes care of Torres and Bosco. Turnabout is fair play.
That was a great job. I spoke with the manager. He says they won't be stealing a lot because one of their weaknesses as a team is speed. But we see here where they tried it, it did not pay off.
Ivy with the easy step on the bag, and almost similar to the Bullets, and Marzetta hit her ball very hard. Had McInerney been running on the pitch that Marzetta hit, she might have been safe. In this case, the running cost him. And Sonny takes care of the third out as Stacy throws out Andy Kosman, the right fielder, and that takes care of the Diamonds in the first. Lots of action, no scoring yet. We'll be back with a top of 2 in Reno. Happy crowd enjoying things here on a great night for baseball in Reno, Nevada. The Silver Bullets and the Reno Diamonds. No score. We go to top of 2. Bill Land and Julie Croto and the crew with you. As the Bullets will lead things off with Tamara Ivy, first baseman, followed by Kara Kogenauer, the DH, and then center fielder Kim Bratz, as Shake Cooper goes to work for his second inning. Shake Cooper's a guy that I would like to have the opportunity to get to know a little bit better. Played a little minor league baseball in his background as a player manager of this club. Played in the Giants farm system. And talking to him about his impression of the Silver Bullets, and he said, Julie, before the game, he paused and thought about it. He said, great athletes, character, a lot of character. He said, quality people. And he said, an absolute travesty that men have monopolized baseball and that women have not had the opportunity. And he said, this is a real thrill for me to have the chance to pitch against them and to participate in a game like this. And you talk about a man who believes in the cause of the Bullets and the mission and the chance for women to learn to play baseball, maybe play professionally someday. This is a guy who is 100% behind him.
Sure. How often do you find someone so supportive of their opponents?
Yeah. So he hasn't been dishing up too much yet. Here's another soft toss, and it's a line drive hit to Lawrence. And that's 2 down as Ivy is retired. 1 down, I should say, the leadoff hitter. So Lawrence retires Ivy and brings up Kara Kogenauer with 1 down in the second. Kogenauer.
Now Kogenauer has great power. She's one of the few Bullets who has the potential to turn around the opponent outfielders. She's really a free swinger. I think her biggest problem is with selection, and that she'll tell you that she swings at balls that keep her in the hole, that don't allow her to hit as well or for as high average as she'd like.
Well, and the Bullets have had a chance. You take a look at the former University of Iowa standout, have had a chance to get in some workouts here in Reno. Many times by being on the road all year long, you just don't get many opportunities to practice. But they played a shortened game up in Minneapolis at the Hubert Humphrey Dome over the weekend, and then have been out here for a few days. So they've had the chance to work out. Let's see if it pays off tonight.
Well, it's funny that you should mention that, because I was talking with Kara before the game, and she said it's been so nice to have 2 days of practice, because normally what these women are getting on the road are 40 cuts, if that, a week. 2 days equals probably about 60 right there.
Kogenauer, 3-2 situation right now as she took a tough cut there. Kim Bratz is on deck, 1 down on the second, no score. Colorado Silver Bullets baseball. The Bullets and the Reno Diamonds here in Reno. Here's Shake Cooper's pitch upstairs, and Cooper walks his second hitter. He walked McEnany to lead off the first. She was doubled up on a hard ground ball by Marzetta. Then Sonny singled and was left stranded in the first. And now with 1 out, Kogenauer's aboard.
Well, that'd be Kogenauer's 7th walk on the season. In general, she does not walk much. Unlike her teammates who walk a lot, they're a very patient team.
Kim Bratz, the center fielder, hitting 194. 7 RBIs and a couple stolen bases.
Bratz is a very smart hitter. She's the kind of hitter who's always really anticipating the pitch. She knows when pitchers will typically pitch what pitches, and in that sense she's ahead of a lot of her teammates who are used to playing fast pitch softball, who aren't as good at the guessing game in baseball.
Bratz on a 4-game hitting streak, so doing some work at improving that average. As Cooper was wondering before the ball game, now Shake, do you get to visit yourself since you're the player manager? Does that mean if he talks to himself that it counts as a visit, and on the second time that he talks to himself he has to take himself out of the game?
That does make it entirely more complicated, Bill.
He's got things taken care of, whatever the problem there. William Cooper, his full name, and nicknamed Shake for his love of Shakespeare, and says he loves to write when he's got the time, if he's not selling season tickets or sponsorships or checking out ball players for this Diamonds team. This one gets away from Marino, and Kogenauer down to second base.
That'll be the 31st wild pitch against the Silver Bullets. I don't know if it's playing against women or playing on national television or what, but these men tend to throw the ball away a little bit, and the Silver Bullets usually capitalize on that, as you see Kara on second.
Well, in Shake's case, he would say it would be lack of experience, as this one almost hits Bratz, as this is his first pitching performance this year. Last year, he was 1-0, but only threw 7 innings, and an ERA 3.86. Shake's a pretty good man with the stick, though, as are all of these Diamond hitters, as he came into the game hitting .283 with 17 RBIs.
Doesn't appear to me by looking at the stats that there's anyone on that team who doesn't hit the ball fairly well.
There's no soft touch. Here's another walk. So the Bullets getting their third walk, second of the inning. And with 2 on and 1 out, Tony Heisler, the shortstop, comes up, the number 8 hitter in Phil Niekro's order.
Well, this is typical Silver Bullet baseball. Although they're not hitting as well as their opponents, their on-base percentage is 19 points shy of their opponents at a very healthy 331.
Heisler, another one of those who feels that she's almost home on a Sacramento. Just to cross the mountains.
Yeah, this is actually the first time that Tony has somebody she knows in the crowd. She said her mom, Jamie, and her sister Trudy are here, and she's actually a little bit nervous about it. She's been so far from home that no one's been out to see her.
1-1 as Cooper's having some control problems. He throws a cut fastball, a curve, and likes to change speeds. This one upstairs just missing, and it's now 2-1.
Now, Tony's really a superb all-around player. She's kind of Cinderella story of sorts. Last year, she platooned primarily at shortstop, did not have a good defensive year, but really stuck it out, really worked hard in the offseason, and has come back to be a rock over there, to really be a foundation of the infield.
She has made some sensational plays in some of the TV games.
She sure has.
Ooh.
Well, I think all of the infield has. I was talking to Bruce Crabb before the game, and I said, how's your infield look? And he said, I don't want to hex them, so I'll say they've been looking horrible, but they've been looking great.
Heisler gets it by the third baseman, Mitchell. Runner will be coming around, and they'll hold her. The bases are loaded. Kogenauer had to be held up by Bruce Crabb, third base coach, as he saw that Enochson out in left field had pulled in quickly to make the play. And the bags are loaded now.
See here in the replay, Heisler does a great job using her lower half right there. She really generated a lot of power with her hips. Well-placed ball, which is all you can ask for in baseball. Does her job.
Here's Shannon Kimberling, Silver Bullets catcher, hitting 118 on the year, 2 RBIs, a chance to get a couple here if she can put one in the gap. Nice stop that time by Eric Marino.
Well, I'd be willing to bet that Bruce Crabb is letting Kara Kogenauer know, you better be on the lookout for that pass ball. That is definitely a possibility here.
2 walks and a base hit have set the Bullets up with a great opportunity. Another bounces in, and it's 2-0 now to Shannon Kimberling.
Well, Shannon's a good person to have up here, although she's not hitting extremely well. She offers a lot of power to the lineup. I'd say without a doubt she's the strongest Silver Bullet.
And Kimberling now 2-1 count. Foul back, 2-2. Julie mentioned earlier about the numbers of the Bullets, and their team batting average is 173 compared to the opponent's 279. But because of walks primarily, that on-base mark is 331 to the opponent's 350. So there's been the difference in why they've been able to hang in so many games. A topper to the shortstop, Lawrence. He'll make the play at first, and the Bullets have the lead. So an RBI on the fielder's choice from Kimberling as she's retired by Lawrence to Crown. And the Bullets lead at 1-0 as coming home was Kogenauer. And the runners move up, so second and third now. Bratz at third, Heisler out at second, and the Bullets lead at 1-0 here in the top of the second inning.
Well, McEnany is a good batter to have up right here. Although she appears very small at 5'0", she really can generate a lot of power. She has 2 doubles on the season, and she hits well with runners on. Her average is 320 in an RBI opportunity.
So Michelle McEnany, who got on the free pass in the first inning and was doubled up on Marzetta's grounder, takes ball 1. Shake Cooper with the 1-0. Catches it for 1-1. 2 down in the second. Pardon me, Julie.
That's all right. Michelle McEnany is the oldest Silver Bullet. She's 31. And she's, for all intents and purposes, the player leader for the team. Not only is she a great baseball player, like mechanically, but emotionally I think she has a real good idea of what's going on.
This one gets away from Reno. Cooper hustles home, and nothing doing for Kim Brott. She stays put at third base. There is a lot of room behind the catcher here, and that's why Julie mentioned that you may see the Bullets take some chances that they wouldn't have in other games.
Well, 2 outs, that was an interesting move. Seems like, at least where I'm coming from, this early in the game, you might as well take a chance.
Yeah, you pretty well know those diamond bats are going to get going at some point and try to get whatever you can. The 2-2, ball 3, so another full count now.
Well, Bruce Kraft advocates very aggressive base running, so my guess is that maybe Kim didn't get a good jump there.
Ball 4, and McEnany gets the 3rd walk of the inning, her 2nd of the game, and the bases are loaded once more.
I'll tell you, once again, we're reminded of how important it is that these Bullets are selective at the plate. They have amassed over 179 walks on the season, as opposed to 93 for their opponents. They really take advantage of the pitcher who gets wild, who gets nervous, who wants to give it to them.
And here's Angie Marzetta, who hit a hard ball in the hole to shortstop last time and then turned out to be a double play. She certainly deserved better. Let's see if she can come through in a clutch situation now. Angie just looks more confident. It's been a couple weeks since I've been around this ball club, and you can tell she's been on a tear lately.
Well, she has been on fire. 4 for 5 in Geneva, 2 for 3 in Pittsburgh, 2 for 3 in Cleveland. I've always loved to watch her hit. I think she's got a great natural swing.
Right back at Cooper, and she's not happy with that one. He nearly threw it away. But the Bullets do get the lead. That ends the top of the 2nd, and the Bullets get a run. They also take the lead here with a 1-0 score. Yeah, that is snow up there. Boy, not like it is here in Reno, though. Beautiful night for baseball here in Nevada, as the Silver Bullets have jumped out to a 1-0 lead over the Reno Diamonds. Bill Land and Julie Croto with you, Moana Stadium in Reno. And the Diamonds, the host team, coming to the plate with Tommy Mitchell, Eric Marino, and Brian Madison due up against Pam Davis, who got a double play in the 1st inning to help her out after a leadoff walk to Jerry Torres. Tommy Mitchell, and the numbers are frightening. I don't care if you're playing Little League Baseball. When you're hitting .469, you got 10 home runs and 82 RBIs. The ball club's only played 52 games.
You are the man.
You can hit. You are the man.
Without a doubt. Do you know he hit .559 in the month of June?
Incredible.
It'd be interesting to see what Davis does here, because I'm sure she's very aware of the genetics in this batter.
Obviously, the Bullets play him deep. It's 339 down the left field line here at Moana Stadium. .420 to straightaway center field. But the wind blows out predominantly to right field. Here's a shot down the left field line, and that'll be a base hit. Shafrath with a quick pickup, and will hold Mitchell to a single.
That was a nice job by Shafrath. Nice throw. Johnny Grubb asked them all the time to hit their cutoffs, which I think she wanted to show off her arm a little bit and make sure Mitchell wasn't going anywhere.
Well, and there's what Michelle McEnany was talking about in her pregame comments about doing the little things. That in that case, make sure you hit the cutoff man. If she misses the cutoff man, the ball bounces in. He gets an extra base. You're out of a forced situation, and bad things can happen. But in this case, fundamentally sound. And let's see if they can keep an eye on Mitchell here.
Well, I spoke with Shafrath, and she said her arm is a little tender. She's been a first baseman, a DH, and an outfielder, and she said the difference in the throws really takes its toll on his arm. As an infielder, you want to be short and quick. As an outfielder, you want to use your body and be a lot longer, generate a lot more power. What is this?
No, it's not disco night. They haven't taken over the stadium. They have sold so many tickets, and the crowd is so big that they're allowing them to move into the warning track area here at Moana Stadium, and isn't that great? I don't think there's anybody on either ball club that minds, but what they're doing, in addition to allowing them out there, you see Rick Vaughter, assistant coach, and the umpires, Phil Nico, coming out to discuss the ground rules in case a ball goes into that crowd and what they're going to do. I know before the game started, club officials had discussed that they would not line them on the field, but apparently they've decided to do so here. And
well, I'm sure both ball clubs are very glad that they're having such a capacity crowd. But I think it's got to be hard on your outfielders and on the team in general to deal with fans on the field with you.
You see it happen from time to time in exhibition games. I can think of the Cubs White Sox when they'll play a charity game and stuff like that in some of the major league cities. Many times in some minor league cities with big promotional nights that you will allow the fans to come out. And they've got it settled here pretty much, it appears. So we'll see. But you obviously have to have some crowd control out there as well to make sure that people behave themselves and pay attention, most importantly.
Well, the Bullets have been doing well with attendance this year, not as well as last year, largely due to rain outs and rain delays. But they've averaged about 4,000 people a game, which for any minor league team is a pretty good number.
All right, here is Eric Marino, the catcher, 383 on the year with a couple of home runs and 41 RBIs. We're in the bottom of the second. Diamonds trail. It's Colorado Silver Bullets 1-0 lead. On an RBI from Shannon Kimberly. Mitchell aboard with a leadoff single. Up the middle, Heisler to McEnany for one, and in time, a nice dig-out job by the first baseman, Tamara Ivy. So the second double play of the night for the Bullets, and the bases are clean.
It's actually the 15th double play for the Bullets this year. Heisler, great job staying low, and an excellent feed to McEnany right at her shoulder. Ivy, as usual, does a great job over at first. Last year when we were being taught infield, our coach, Kevin Jones, said you want to catch the ball either one or two positions, either right down in the dirt or up at your chest. Heisler did a nice job going down, staying down, and going after that ball.
Here's Brian Madison, the DH, a 403 hitter. He's got 9 homers with 55 RBIs, second on the ball club in home runs behind Mitchell's 10. Lifts this one out to center field, and Bratz cannot catch up to it. Pretty good speed for Madison as he's going for 3. The relay will not be in time, and in fact off the mark. Tell you, Madison, for a big guy, can motor, Julie.
There's nothing wrong with a power and speed combination, I'll tell you that.
He's surprising speed.
That's a well-hit ball. Kim Bratz, great jump on the ball, not the best speed in the outfield, although I would say the best arm in the outfield. Does a nice job getting the ball in right there. Heisler knows she doesn't have time, I think, rushes herself and makes an errant throw.
So Madison, who commutes from Sacramento to play with the Diamonds, and he's only missed 1 game so far this year. I would imagine when he run on the bases that they ought to get a little radar on him on his drive over here. He didn't do anything slow. So the Bullets now in danger of getting this one tied up, although there are 2 down. Madison aboard at third with the triple, and here's Harley Unickson, the left fielder. Harley hitting 303. He's got a home run and 16 driven in. Pam Davis misses here. Davis coming in with a record of 2-4, 4.8 ERA. They really need her to step up and do a nice, consistent job here over the last month of the season, because a couple of their expected standout starters are sidelined with injuries. Shea Sloan and Leanne Ketchum. Sloan has been out much of the season. Ketchum going down in the middle of this last month with a shoulder problem. So all the more important for Davis to step up and get the job done.
You're right. Their number 1, their number 2 starters, for all intents and purposes, are gone. Shea Sloan is going to have surgery a week from Wednesday. Beanie Ketchum will be back, but won't be able to throw until the 16th of August. And as a starter, I imagine she will be more in a reliever role, throwing only as much as she can. So Davis, more than ever, along with Missy Coombs, is going to have to get the job done.
Missy's 3-5. She'll get the next start on Saturday at Oakland. Davis with a breaking pitch, and it's a drop foul on the third baseline. Count is 2-2 with 2 out. Bottom of 2. And the Diamonds trailing the Bullets. Silver Bullets with a 1-0 lead. But Brian Madison sitting at third base as Davis gives him a look after a triple. And Enochson, the left fielder. Another one of those open stances.
You know, I was just getting ready to comment on how well Pam Davis has performed so far in the early innings, how composed she was. In general, she is a little wild early on, and then she throws that ball high and tight.
And the full count pitch. Oh, she got a little help that time. Enochson goes down on strikes. It's the first strikeout of the night for Davis. It came at a great time, and the Bullets get a double play and a K to end the inning. You're watching Silver Bullet Baseball on your regional sports network. Bullets lead 1-0 as we go to the top of the third. I think I made a mistake. That was a great pitch. Not necessarily a little help from Enochson to end the last inning.
Well, like I said before, she got wild there for a second, but what a great slider low and away. Too close to take.
That ball started out looking like meat and then dove into the dirt. Enochson comes up empty-handed. And there's a look at the overflow crowd here at Moana Stadium in Reno.
Well, there's no doubt that Pam makes her money on her slider. It is nasty.
They're seeing a good show so far here. Top of 3, and Stacy Sonny, the number 3 hitter, will lead things off for the Bullets. She singled to center as the Bullets left one in the first, left the bases loaded in the second, but did get a run. Hits are even at 2. Bullets lead at 1-0, and Shake Cooper starts his third inning of work. He's had trouble locating home plate, and he does it here with 1-0. Cooper has not struck out anybody, has walked 4.
Well, that'll be interesting because Stacy Sonny rarely strikes out. She has 5 strikeouts in the season, and she rarely walks. She's definitely a batter that will make something happen. She's had 6. She had a 6-game hitting streak.
Puts the bunt down. Cooper not in time. Stacy Sonny can handle the bat now. And the third hit of the night.
Sonny has deceptive speed. If you saw her in the street, you would not say she was quick, but she motors down the line. Excellent bunt right there. What's important in a bunt, get a good ball to bunt and make the right guy field it, and that she did.
So leadoff hitter is on for the second time, and here's Pam Shafrath. She grounded right back to Cooper to end the first inning.
I'll talk about versatile, as I mentioned earlier. Not only is she a DH, a left fielder, and a first baseman, she can do it all. What an athlete.
Want to know the count here to Pam Shafrath, and the Bullets another opportunity here with the leadoff hitter aboard. Ivy's on deck. The bunt goes down. Cooper look to second and will make the play. Sacrifice is successful for Shafrath.
We have stereotypical Silver Bullet baseball. Get a runner on, move them over. Where they have had problems in the past is scoring them. Squares around nicely as a bat head out in front. The bunt's a little too close to the pitcher's mound, I'm sure, for her purposes, but it does the job. Sonny safely on second.
Brings up Tamara Ivy. Sonny at second, 1 down. Ivy line to the shortstop Lawrence to lead off the second inning. And Shake Cooper again misses with his first offering. It's 1-0. Nothing against Shake, but I would guess that the Bullets are going to have to do some damage against him. He looks the runner, got the runner at second, not in time. Cooper looked back to second, and I don't know why he did, but it was a smart thing to do. Sonny was off the bag, but his throw was not in time to get Stacy. He might have been better off to just run right at her. because it looked like he had her frozen, Julie,
Right.
and then he waited for her to commit.
You're absolutely right about that. Whenever a runner is in the middle of the base path, what you do is run at them, make them commit, then you throw the ball.
So that goes down as a base hit for the Silver Bullets and for Ivy.
And that really shows how much the base runners have improved for the Silver Bullet. Last year, a lot of times you would have seen Stacy try to advance to third and get nailed there. Now the runners know. You wait to see, make sure it's to the right of the shortstop, make sure it gets past the, to the left of the shortstop, make sure it gets past the pitcher, then you advance.
Well, I say Cooper in no disregard for Shake, but if the Bullets can get something, they need to get against him. This guy has not pitched all year. This is a team that is 44-8, and yeah, they've got great hitting, but they got some outstanding pitching. So you know it's not going to get any easier when the bullpen comes in tonight, and the Bullets need to take advantage of the opportunities that they're given against Cooper.
Absolutely. I think that the Reno Diamonds' real strengths lie in their hitting and in their bullpen pitching.
Let me stand corrected. Ivy ruled a fielder's choice on that play, not a base hit. Kogenauer fouls this one off as well and stays 0-2. Kara Kogenauer, the DH. Scored the only run in the ball game. It's 1-0. Bullets lead the Diamonds here in Reno. Top of 3. Bullets have won 3 of their last 6, but dropped the last 2 ball games. I'd like to get back on the win side here tonight. Back to Sonny. No, over the second baseman's head. But Stacy can't go anywhere. She is daring them to throw at this point, and Marino's throw was well off the mark.
And maybe for a good reason.
Kogenauer, I guess possibly could have been called for interference there, as she stepped across in front of Eric Marino.
Kim Bratz, who has a 4-game hitting streak at this point. She's hitting 194 for the Bullets.
Bratz, last time up, she walked, was left stranded at third. 2 down on the strikeout by Kogenauer.
I think that fundamentally Bratz has the best swing on the squad. She's spent a lot of time working with college players on her mechanics.
1-1. So the Bullets left 1 in the first, and he had a double play in that inning as well against them, and then the bases loaded in the second and in danger here of leaving 2 on. This is a too familiar story for this team that, while closing the gap on their opponents this year, have lost some close ones. This one lifted out to right center, and a diving grab. No, he did not hang on. Kosman could not hang on. 1 run scores. The play at third, and Ivy is called out. But the Bullets do get Sonny in and lead it 2-0 as Ivy is thrown out at third base. And we'll see if they score that a base hit or an error. Take a look.
She does a great job going the other way right there. She really stayed back well. Looks like it might have been a clean catch and then just fell out when he hit the ground. You see Sonny showing off her speed.
Kosman got up, Kosman got up quickly, made the throw to third, and they got the runner Ivy. But the Bullets get another run and lead it 2-0 after 2.5. Bullets add another run and lead it 2-0. Let's take a look again at Annie Kosman's play out in right field on the what has now been ruled a hit by Kim Bratz. Kosman with the pickup and then had the togetherness to come up with it and throw to Mitchell to get Ivy at third. But the Bullets at least take advantage of the situation and get another run, Julie.
Absolutely, you got to get every one. With the Bullets, you can't take 1 run for granted.
And we move to the bottom of 3. Mike Crown, the first baseman, the first hitter to go against Pam Davis. Davis has allowed 2 hits, has struck out 1 and walked 1, has been helped by 2 double plays from Bullet defense, and Crown fouls this one out of play. Jeff Lawrence, the shortstop, and Jerry Torres also due up this inning. Crown, a .237 hitter with no home runs and 8 RBIs.
Now, Crown played for the University of Nevada, and 8 players on this team have played collegiate baseball, 7 of which are out of University of Nevada.
Yeah, and this ball club, average age is probably around mid-20s. So a much younger squad than the Bullets have faced on many occasions.
Well, I think it's a great squad in comparison to some of the teams they've been playing lately. They have 5 players that are ex-professional, either major leaguers or ex-minor leaguers. They are certainly up against some tough competition this evening.
Crown trying to wait on the breaking ball and fouls it back. He's in a 1-2 hole.
Pam has done a good job of staying in front, staying on top of the batters this year. She gets ahead and she usually stays low.
Inside. Bullets, speaking of starting pitching, and Pam Davis and the job that she's required to do, have signed another player. Linda Kelly will join the club in Oakland, 5'6", 175, a left-hander. So they get a little help for their pitching staff. She was scouted at a tryout they held in Geneva, Illinois, suburban Chicago, recently. And there'll be another tryout coming up for the Silver Bullets, and we'll pass that information along to you a little bit later on. I believe it is in Oakland.
It's actually in San Jose, California. It's Municipal Stadium. You must be 20 years old, and it's August 6th. And we'll give you a phone number you can call in just a few minutes if you're interested in trying out.
Yeah, remember that, so the dreams can come true. And most had thought that these tryouts were held for the '96 season, but in this case, with the injuries to Sloan and the problems with Beanie Ketchum, Kelly's going to chance to join this ball club right away.
Well, hopefully she's in good shape, because they're in need of a starter. You got to wonder what's going to happen to their starting rotation because of the fact they've lost 2 starters.
Joe Mikro looking on as Davis gets her second strikeout of the night. Strikes out Crown, and back-to-back Ks for Pam Davis.
Great cut. Just looked like he was fooled.
He goes down for the opening out in the 3rd inning, and Jeff Lawrence, shortstop, comes to the plate. Lawrence inside, got the corner. .387 hitter with 1 homer and 25 RBIs. He's looked strong defensively tonight also. Number 9 hitter, Davis, in the dirt and fooled him. Lawrence now in an 0-2 hole. Gives you an idea of the strength of this club, though, when you've got a .387 hitter as your number 9 man.
Well, Davis has done a real nice job tonight. She's really come a long way in 12 months, and it's important to remember that she hasn't pitched a baseball since she was 15 years old. I was speaking with her personal pitching coach, Jerry Reed, and he said that basically she has a God-given talent, and that if she had pitched all the way through, that she would probably be in the minor leagues today.
Strike 3, and 3 straight strikeouts for Pam Davis.
Nice job. Looks like that ball just drops off a table.
So Crown and Lawrence go down, and now back to the top of the order to Jerry Torres, who walked the first time that he faced Davis. Davis is still going to the University of South Florida in Tampa. He waited on it. Deep center field. Brox is there to make the grab. So a quick 1-2-3 inning, the first of those for the Silver Bullets. And we've played 3 in Reno. The Bullets lead the Diamonds 2-0. Watching Silver Bullets baseball on your regional sports network. Glad to have you with us here in Reno tonight as the Reno Diamonds trail the Colorado Silver Bullets after 3-2-0. Bullets have out-hit the homestand Diamonds 4-2, and single runs in the 2nd and 3rd, even though they've left 5 runners on base tonight. They have a 2-0 lead. And we'll get going in the fourth with the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. As Tony Heisler, Shannon Kimberly, and Michelle McInerney will go to the plate here in the fourth for the Bullets. Shake Cooper back to work for his 4th inning. The Bullets, as I mentioned, coming off back-to-back losses in Battle Creek, Michigan to the Kalamazoo Yankees 6-1, and then on the 28th of July, losing to the Dyersville Sox in Geneva, Illinois, 10-3. But prior to that, they had won 3 of 4, beating a team up in Pittsburgh 7-4, the Ohio Indians 3-2 at Jacobs Field, and then in Kansas City, they lost 3-1 to the Shawnee Royals at Kauffman Stadium. And then they got a forfeit victory over Tinker Air Force Base. Boy, does this speak well for our government and our military, that we're running in ringers in a tight, turned out to be extra inning game, and got caught red-handed changing uniforms, and the Bullets were awarded a 1-0 forfeit victory.
Flying them in, no less. Your tax dollars at work.
Thank you very much, government. My, oh my.
I think that's a good sign in one sense, that it tells you that the Bullets are being taken seriously, and you can look at it as a form of flattery. Although I think it's cheap and very bad sportsmanship, it can be complimentary in a sense.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's the way people ought to take it, although it is sad. But men don't want to lose to women is the theme of that game, and they would go to any length to not do so.
And to some extent that men are supposed to beat women.
Ground ball to the third baseman Mitchell, and he fires to first, and 1 down as Heisler is retired for the opening out here in the top of the 4th inning.
Well, I know although we find it amusing and somewhat complimentary that Phil and Joe Niekro do not. They are very frustrated and very angry because they've fought with ringers, people being added to the roster both this season and last season.
Well, I think the whole point is, as we take a look at Kimberly here, she is the first RBI in the game. High pop fly to center. Torres will make the play for 2 down. I think the point is the Bullets are willing to face about any competition, but just be legit.
Right.
If you're going to have people flown in, that's fine, but put them on your roster and have it be notified well in advance. Don't try to sneak around and do it, and that has happened a couple of times this season. And for example, this team here tonight is probably much stronger than that Air Force team. That's fine. They know what they're dealing with going in. We saw a team up in Buffalo that was outstanding. The Bullets lost in a 2-1 game, and no problem with it whatsoever. There are a number of ex-major leaguers that played in the game, but it's let's be up front with what's going on. 2-0 the count to Michelle McInerney. Walked her first 2 times. And well on her way to a 3rd here with a 3-0 count.
She's going to secure this walk lead that she has and her on-base percentage lead. She's going to make sure she gets it.
Cooper comes back to make it 3-1. Bullets have not gone in order in any inning, and that stays intact. As McInerney gets the W, and as a result, that is 5 walks now that Cooper has allowed.
Well, McInerney really knows her zone, and I tell you, she makes pitchers throw strikes.
37 walks she has now received in the 31st game of the season. And Angie Marzetta grounded out twice, once into a double play in the first inning, sharply hit to short, and then right back to Cooper in her last appearance. Angie pops this one up, and Lawrence will make the easy play. And it's a quick, if not 1-2-3 inning for the Diamonds as they retire the Bullets. We played 3.5 in Reno. Bullets lead it 2-0. Bullets lead it 2-0 as we go to the bottom of 4 here in Reno. You know, we were mentioning about the game that the Bullets won on a forfeit where the Air Force used some illegal players flying them into play. Joe Niekro, the pitching coach, talked about that incident.
Well, that's true. I mean, you know, maybe they read some things or see us play on TV and say, hey, we got to better our team up, because I'm sure nobody wants to lose to us. But you know, let's play the game the way it's supposed to play. If you got a team and you submit a roster before the season starts and vet your team, you know, take that team on the field. And it's you know, it's men against women, but it's 22 baseball players against 22 baseball players and let the best team win without bringing in people that you don't have to have there.
I think that's the general attitude of the Silver Bullets, as although I think overall the publicity that they've gotten out of that, Julie, is just one more plus for the Bullets, that it gives the idea that people understand that they have improved and they are getting better each time out. What it does make you wonder is what the heck is going on with our Air Force when they're flying people in. That's the scary part from my standpoint, but that's for another forum, I guess.
Well, apparently the Air Force Base has been getting calls from all around the country, calls of complaints going, what are you doing? You know, play with your team. Don't spend my dollars that way.
If you're giving free charters, have a sign-up list.
Right, no kidding.
Tell us where you're going to take us. Well, we go to the bottom of the fourth, and Mike Bosco with a 1-1 and taps it to short. Heisler with the backhand and gets in. One down, and Bosco is lined into a double play and grounded out now. And Pam Davis has now retired 5 in a row.
Heisler does a nice job using her momentum for the throw right there. I quit. I quit.
No, you can't. We're just in the fourth. I'm sorry. You'll have to stay with us for the remainder of this one, Julie. Here's Andy Kosman, who comes up. Kosman hitting .406 coming in, grounded out to third baseman Stacy Sonny.
Her path to the ball. That was a very difficult word that I was trying to conjure up from the recesses of my mind.
I knew it was a 4-letter word, but I didn't know it was path.
was very good right there.
Here's a drive out to center field, and Bratz circles under it, makes the play, 2 down.
I'll tell you, Pam is pitching very well tonight. She's had 7 days off, and you can tell she looks really strong. And if the Bullets win in general, it's when the starter is doing well. 6 of their 7 wins have been from the starters. Only 1 have been from the bullpen.
Davis being economical with her pitches, most importantly. She had the 3 straight strikeouts. That kind of got her going. She's now retired 6 in a row, has faced just 1 over the minimum thanks to double plays in the first and second inning. Here's Tommy Mitchell. He has one of the 2 hits for the Diamonds. Line drive to left.
Well, Davis was telling me before the game, the more experience she gets, the more her pitch count drops, that consistently it is dropping. You see there why she's hit 5 batsmen.
And Mitchell with a 2-0 count now. Eric Marino retrieves, and well, if you got to face Mitchell, here's where you want him. 2 out and nobody on.
But you can tell when Davis gets frustrated because she kind of slows down.
Well, there's a shot, and it is just fair inside the line. And in amongst the fans is Shafrath to run it down, and Mitchell will get to second base on that play.
Well, that's certainly a reason to be frustrated.
Fans are booing the fans as they're saying, get out of the way, allow Shafrath to make the play, although she's not going to come up with this ball in time to stop Mitchell.
Wow, it looked like she did an OJ right there, leaping over the fan to make the play. Well, it may have been a break for the Bullets because a ball right down the line like that is a solid double, possible triple.
I don't know what they've ruled on that when they had their little meeting out there, Julie, but you would almost think that if the outfielder got out there and threw his or her arms up in the air, it would be like a ball stuck in the tarp or the ivy at Wrigley Field and say, hey, that's it, it's a ground rule double. Here's a tapper to short. Heisler cannot handle it. That will cost as Mitchell will come around to score. Marino is held to 1 base. That'll be an error on Tony Heisler, and it allows Mitchell to score the first run of the game for the Diamonds. Well, we bragged about Heisler. She must have, well, good pitch, too.
I like what happened is she kind of stayed back and let the ball play her as opposed to really being aggressive and going up and getting it.
So the first error of the game for the Bullets. And with 2 down, a run in, a runner on. As Brian Madison, who tripled to deep center field in his first trip, comes up with a chance to do some more damage.
Well, the Bullets typically are a defensive squad. They fundamentally sound and usually play defensive, flawless baseball. However, they're coming off 2 back-to-back 6-error games, so I think that's probably still with them to some extent.
And obviously that run is unearned, because if that play is handled smoothly, that's the end of the inning. Here's Madison, and hopefully Davis can work herself out of this jam. Toss to first, and Ivy holding Marino, the catcher, on. Brian Madison, number 6 hitter in the order.
Well, we noticed Davis' high leg kick earlier in the game, and it'll be interesting to see if the Diamonds exploit that, because what that gives them, in essence, is an extra split second jump to second. Madison, chance to do some damage here. Runner going, he's swinging and fouls it into the dugout. So 1-1. Doing exactly as Julie suggested to try and take advantage of that. See if they can't get Marino down in scoring position. Well, a lot of people, myself included in the beginning, wonder about the women's arms, the catcher's arms. Are they strong enough really to get these runners? They've caught 4 runners so far this year. And I was speaking with Shannon Kimberling, and she said she was timed at a 2-2 to second, a 1-9, in fact, for a pitch out. Davis quickly over to keep an eye on Marino. One and one, 2 down. It's a 2-1 ball game. Colorado Silver Bullets with the lead. And the breaking ball certainly fooled Madison. 1-2. Seems like she's been doing that all night, low and away. It's about .230 batting average, according to the all-time great Ted Williams. You ought to know. Shouldn't mess with that unless you're stuck. Madison, and again a toss over to keep check on Marino. Bullets got 1 in the second and 1 in the third. They've got 4 hits on the night, have left 6 runners. The Diamonds, with their first run in this inning, have left a runner in the second inning. 2 double plays have certainly helped the Bullets defensively. And here they're just trying to get out of this 4th inning with 2 down. Marino aboard at first after an error by Heisler, and Madison with a 1-2 count. Davis, pitch out, and it looked like she actually short-armed that ball. Madison almost went for it. Marino got back quickly. Well, Shannon Kimberling has a very strong arm, and I think right there what she was looking for was a quick release, and maybe lost a little bit as far as accuracy or speed on that throw. Now 2-2. He's going this time, and Madison off the glove of Heisler. Runners at the corners quickly. Brott's got to play at second, not in time. McInerney late with the tag as Madison slid right by the base. Looks pretty grateful to have gotten that. He really reaches out and pulls the outside pitch. Heisler does what she can off the end of her glove. Kim Brott's very perceptive, knows what's going on, tries for the play at second base. It's not in time. Well, a tough break there, because Heisler had a chance. It would have been a great play, but a chance to kind of redeem herself. A base hit is credited to Madison, and it sets runners up at the corners. So the good news for Bullet fans is nothing hurt. They're still 2 down. Bad news, second and third, and here's Enochson, who is a strikeout victim, and he's in an 0-1 situation right now. See the runners at third is Marino at second and Madison, and Harley Enochson, the left fielder, with an 0-1 count. Struck out in the second to end the second. Taps this one to third. Stacy Sonny stays with it, and a bullet of a throw. So that ends the inning. The Diamonds do come up with a run. They get a couple base hits, an error in the inning, and they lead one. It's 2-1. We played 4. You're watching Colorado Silver Bullet Baseball on your regional sports network.
Silver Bullets with a 2-1 lead here in Reno. We move to the top of the 5th, and a new pitcher to the mound for the Reno Diamonds as Rick Vaughter comes on. He's an assistant coach with this club. Spent some time in the minor leagues with the Baltimore Orioles, and he replaces Shake Cooper. Cooper went the first 4 innings and allowed 4 hits, 2 runs. He struck out 1 and he walked 5 in his 2 innings of work. Here is Vaughter to come in, and he's a knuckleballer. So if there's anybody that the Bullets should be prepared against, it would be a knuckleballer after seeing Phil and Joe Niekro for about 4 months of batting practice.
Actually, contrary to popular belief, they do not throw very many knuckleballs in practice because they think that their team is not going to face that many knuckleballers during the games.
Stacy Sonny leading it off here in the inning with a 1-1 count. Fouled that one back.
Although I must say, Bill, to your defense, if they can hit Phil Niekro's curveball, they certainly should be able to hit
Vaughter.
Yes, knuckleball, excuse me. They should certainly be able to hit Vaughter.
And they do. Down the third base line it goes. And aboard with a base hit is Stacy Sonny.
Well, Sonny's certainly doing a lot to protect her leading offensive stats, to make sure Marzetta does not gain any more ground on her here tonight.
Vaughter is 36 years old and said, yeah, naturally, I modeled my knuckleball success after Phil Niekro, Wilbur Wood, the old lefty that used to pitch for the Chicago White Sox. But he said, like so many pitchers, the bunt is on and fouled back here, looking for the sacrifice, Shafrath. He said, I didn't start till late in my career. There's just not anybody out there to teach the thing. And that has been the case more often than not as you look at 2 of the best. Joe on the right, Phil on the left. And he said, I throw it much better now than he said, even though I threw it when I was a kid, he said, every kid messes around with it. But he said, every coach tells you, cut it out, throw the ball hard. But he said, I never forgot my love for it. And he said, I throw it for the most part about 80% of the time for the Reno Diamonds.
Well, I think every player on the Silver Bullets messes around with knuckleball too. I know that we used to do it in the hotel room, and I have a mean 10-foot knuckleball. Anything got past that, I'm done. But it is a fun pitch to play around with.
This one in the dirt, and the throw at second not in time. So Sonny with a stolen base and a runner in scoring position, most importantly. As Stacy Sonny, here's a look at it.
See here, Sonny gets a great jump on the ball, a nice break. And this will be her 2nd stolen base out of 2 stolen base attempts. Looks like she took a little hook slide there, just in case. The throw is off the mark.
Shafrath with a 1-2 in the dirt, 2-2. Vaughter also throws the fastball on the curve. Tamara Ivy is on deck when the top of 5. Bullets with a 2-1 lead. Good ball game tonight here in Reno. Catcher throwing down, and Sonny, boy, she's making everybody nervous. Catchers, pitchers, probably manager.
Well, Sonny is very aggressive. She is a fierce competitor.
Boy, that is the truth. She's had some tough injuries, and she's fought back from them this year. Mitchell looks her back, makes the easy throw, and now Sonny going for the bag and got it. Oh, mama. Heads up play, and again, as Julie mentioned, aggressive work on the bases by Stacy Sonny.
Outstanding job by Stacy Sonny. I tell you, I think right there what she did is she really benefited from the fact that she didn't think that the first baseman would anticipate a bullet runner going to third base on a throw like that. So that's where I think she got her jump. Great job and a beautiful slide. Look at this, absolutely textbook.
Right there. So Shafrath out on the grounder, but with 1 down now, here's Tamara Ivy and a runner at third base in Stacy Sonny. Ivy looking for her first hit. Fielder's choice in the 3rd. She reached when Cooper tried to get Sonny at second base and did not. Vaughter, hard hit. Mitchell, same play. And this time, no advancement, and Ivy is out. And it's up to Kara Kogenauer, who scored the opening run of the ball game. She's walked and struck out. As you look at Tommy Mitchell, plays a pretty good third base besides carrying a big stick.
Great player, without a doubt. And I'll tell you, Kara, although her batting average is not impressive, she only has 4 hits on the season. She has 6 RBIs, and 4 of those hits have been doubles.
Yeah, she has had big hits, so opportunity to deliver one here. The Bullets, and we don't mean to grind home that record of 7-23, but this tapper back to the mound. Vaughter has to wait a while and makes the play. We'll make that point later on. Pardon me. Sonny left stranded after a base hit and a stolen base and some good work on the bases, but the Bullets still lead 2-1. Silver Bullets with a 2-1 lead over the Reno Diamonds here in Reno, Nevada. Bill Land and Julie Croteau and our crew, glad to have you aboard here in the Women's Sports Network and watching on regional sports networks all over the country. As leading things off for the Diamonds will be Mike Crown against Pam Davis. Davis through 4 has been sharp. She's allowed 4 hits, given up the 1 run. It was unearned. She has struck out 3 and walked just 1, as Crown will lead things off here in the 5th inning. Mike Crown, the first baseman, struck out in that string of 3 straight Ks that she had, ending the 2nd, starting the 3rd. I want to remind you the Silver Bullets' next game is in Oakland on Saturday, and their next telecast of Silver Bullets baseball will come from Stockton, California on August the 10th. Check your local listings in the regional sports network in your area for the time in your part of the country. Crown lifts this one to right field. Marzetta, a long run, cannot catch up to it. Crown will go for 3. McEnany will not even make a throw. It's a triple for Mike Crown to lead off the 5th inning.
Well, anytime you have a runner on 3rd with no outs, there's a pretty good chance of him scoring. They're going to have to do some creative defensive work to keep him where he is. Chantel gets a solid piece of that. Marzetta, unfortunately, is shading towards center field as opposed to right field and just can't get a clean grab on it. She gets a good throw in, but that is a solid triple.
Hit them where they ain't. That's certainly what Crown did that time as Marzetta pulled over. Here's Jeff Lawrence, the shortstop. He too struck out first time up. Heisler, not in time. That's a play that Heisler, Sonny tried to get to, could not. And when she couldn't, Heisler was too far back to make a quick throw.
On a play like that, the 3rd baseman gets whatever they can. Heisler, I think, assuming that she may have that, was a little far back. I agree, Bill. Does everything she could. Her release to first base is so much better than last year, but not in time.
So a base hit. And Jerry Torres, the top of the lineup now for Reno.
I know in their days off, these 2 practice days that they've had here in Reno, the Silver Bullets have worked particularly on their cutoffs and on their 1st and 3rd situations. They were a little rough earlier in the season, but I anticipate they'll be a little much improved here tonight.
Well, key situation in the ball game. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning, 2-1 Bullet lead. Runners at the corners for now all the corners, and the bags are loaded. So Torres hit by a pitch, and the bases are now loaded. Nobody out. Here's a look at it.
That would be hit batsman number 6 for Davis. That no one will contest the fact that she is not afraid to go inside.
Well, you have the force at any base now. That's the good news. And let's see how the Bullets play this. You look at the infield, medium depth for short and second. 1st and 3rd will come in and play even with the bag, as you've got Mike Bosco, second baseman, who's lined out and grounded out up. He misses the first pitch for strike 1. I mean, obviously, what they really need here is a strikeout. If Davis can get the strikeout, then you hope to get the double play and get out of the inning. But anything that isn't hit right at an infielder is pretty well going to score a run. Strike 2.
Well, it certainly appears to be chasing that outside pitch.
Boy, he looked horrible on that.
And I know Davis says she looks for a batter's weakness and really exploits it. If he'll swing 1 inch off the plate, she'll throw 2 inches off the plate. See if he'll go for that one as well.
So that means 3 inches off the plate here. Right back to the pitcher and off her glove. Oh my goodness. Ball game tied. Coming into scores, Mike Crown. And they had the double play. Exactly what they wanted, and Davis just could not handle it.
This is reminiscent of the game in Battle Creek, Michigan. Davis, errorless going into that game, made 2 errors, both to hurt herself. Looks like it just goes right off the tip of her glove right there. She maybe was thinking about what she wanted to do as opposed to doing it step by step, catching the ball, stepping, throwing.
And Bosco is credited with a base hit on that. You make the call. It was a difficult play with the high. Fly ball to Marzetta. Lost it in the lights, and that'll allow everyone safe and another run in. Well, the roof is caving in here as Kosman's high fly to right field, and Marzetta lost the ball. You thought if there was going to have that problem, it's still not completely dark yet, but it would have happened earlier where that's the sun field.
Well, right field appears to be a tough pace to play today. Marzetta looks like she has a beat on the ball and then all of a sudden looks lost. So it's a nice job getting the ball in and recovering, however. You know, I tell you, watching batting practice today, Bill, I would guess if this game were going to be scored like this, it would be from pure singles, doubles, solid hits from the Reno Diamonds, but instead just the opposite. Almost fluke base hits, errors or base hits depending on how you score them.
Yeah, you've had in this inning the triple by Crown, which was a legitimate triple, but again was a ball that was placed perfectly. It was more of a high fly ball. You follow that up with the base hit to shortstop. You look at Allison Habits out in the bullpen. Then Torres is hit by a pitch. Bosco with the comebacker that was ruled a base hit, and then the high fly that falls in front of Marzetta. So it's not like Davis is pitching poorly. Now here's a high, deep drive to center field. It's 420 out there. It's back and hits at the base of the wall. That will clear the bases, and going for 3 is Tommy Mitchell with no play. A bases clearing triple for Mitchell, and the Diamonds take a 6-2 lead.
Well, we certainly see here why Mitchell does lead his team in every offensive category. He's batting an impressive .469, 10 home runs in the season. He just gets every single little bit of that ball. Kim Bratz does a nice job. But it's tough play off the wall. Marzetta recovers, gets it in, but unfortunately the damage has already been done.
So 3 RBIs for Mitchell to give him 85 for the year, and what was a pretty good looking ball game at 2-1 to start this inning in favor of the Bullets is now a 6-2 Diamond lead. Here's Eric Marino with a 1-0 count, the catcher. He is hit into a double play and reached on an error. His ball in the 4th inning allowed the first run to come in for the Diamonds. Heisler, another error. And that will make it 7-2. And Marino. Well, he's hit it to Heisler 3 straight times, and she's botched 2 of them.
You see Heiser playing in close. They didn't want to give up that 7th run. Unfortunately, I think the nerves that she credited to her family being here tonight may be doing some damage.
7-2, and here is Brian Madison. Nobody out. Wow, this one is deep and gone. My goodness, Madison with his 10th homer of the year. He tacks on 2 more. It's a 9-2 ball game.
I think that ball landed somewhere in downtown Rio. That was an absolute blast.
Did you say Rio or Reno?
Reno, maybe Rio. Quite possibly Rio.
I mean, he pounded that sucker.
I'll tell you, as a pitcher, there are always a couple pitches that you want back. I'm sure Davis would like to take that one back.
Take a look at Madison.
Looks a little fat. She left it up just a little bit. Does a great job. Nice extension. Great torque on that ball. Torque on that bat, excuse me. They say that the bat has a sweet spot and the ball has a sweet spot, and I'd be willing to bet he hit both.
Madison has tripled and homered, and Pam Davis is done. You know, about the time we mentioned that she was pitching all right is when Mitchell smoked that triple to center field that hit the base of the wall 420 feet away. And then Reno with an air, but he gets aboard. And then Madison with the one that either went to Brazil or downtown Reno.
I think they should have stats on commentators, on the hexes.
Pam Davis leaves the ball game. Nobody out in the 5th, and we'll be back with more. Stay with us here in Reno. Diamonds with a 9-2 lead, and they've done it with an 8-run inning here in the 5th. And Allison Habits comes out of the pen to hopefully put a stop to all of this offense, as Habits with an 0-1 record and ERA of 3.57. This is her 12th appearance, having thrown 17 2/3 innings. Habits has struck out 10 and walked 18, so that's been her bugaboo. And the Bullets have got some work cut out for them, as nobody out in the inning.
Habits has a fastball and a curveball that she has good command over. She's working on a slider and change. I would say that her best pitch is probably her curveball, although her fastball, though not overwhelming, is quite effective.
The book is closed on Pamela Davis. 4 innings credited, as she did not retire a batter in the 8th that she faced here in the 5th, giving up 10 hits, 10 runs. She struck out 3, and she walked 1 in the ball game.
Well, I think it's to Joe Negro's credit that the pitchers have pitched as well as they have. In 949 at-bats, they've only hit 10 batsmen and have 93 walks. Not bad. They also have only had 2 balks. Excuse me, Bill.
And that's only the 5th home run hit off of Silver Bullet pitching this season. I think it gives you more an idea of the potential of this Reno Diamond Ball Club, that once they've been around the order and had a couple of looks at a pitcher, and Habits starts things off not the way you want to get it going. A hit batsman here, and Enixon is aboard.
It's like she just let that go. Looked like it came out the side, came off her fingers, right into the middle of his back. You don't want to get hit there. There's not a lot of cushioning right there in the lower back.
Now batting for the Reno Diamonds, number 24, Bob Arol.
And pinch hitter coming up here. Bob Arol is the pinch hitter. Bob Arol pinch hitting for Mike Crown. Arol, guy who has pitched some in the big leagues with the Phillies, is an outstanding pitcher and hitter for this ball club, as Arol hits .417 with 4 homers and 18 RBIs in 29 games. In the dirt, nice stop by Kimberly.
Yeah, he certainly is an addition to this squad. He leads the team in with 7 saves.
Allison Habits with nobody out. Arol, a shot to left center. Bratz comes in quickly, looking to get the runner at third, not in time, and cut off. Heisler made the right move to come back to make sure that Arol did not advance to second.
Well, the Diamonds certainly aren't taking anything for granted. You see there, he wanted to make sure that he advanced to third base as opposed to holding up at second. So apparently 9 runs, not enough.
9-2 with 8 runs in the 5th, 2 aboard and nobody out. Jeff Lawrence is the hitter. He singled and scored earlier this inning.
Allison Habits is a 5'5", 130-pound pitcher, not physically threatening. She's out of Crowley, Louisiana, and claims to be the team's only Cajun.
Habits up top. Jeff Lawrence, the shortstop. Lawrence has struck out before singling and scoring here in the 5th. Silver Bullets jumped out to a 2-0 lead with solo runs in the 2nd and the 3rd. Then in the 4th, Reno countered with 1 on an unearned run. And in the 5th, the roof caved in as they chipped away, and then the big blows. The triple by Mitchell that drove in 3, and then Madison 2 hitters later with a 2-run shot over the left field fence.
Well, you can tell by the crowd's cheering at that strike that the fans are still behind the Silver Bullets. In fact, almost every stadium the Bullets go to, for all intents and purposes, a home team, a home crowd. They want to see the Bullets win, but they'll settle to see the Silver Bullets throw strikes, turn double plays, hit line drives.
Right now, the Bullets just need an out of any sort, and this one bounces in and away from Kimberling, and that makes it a 10-2 ball game. As chasing home was Enochson.
So look at the pitch.
Wild pitch, it's ruled.
Trinidad does a nice job chasing after that ball.
Moving down to 2nd, Arol. Lawrence with a 1-2 count against Allison Habits. Hard shot by Heisler.
They are eating up that shortstop hole.
And the throw cut off by Heisler. It's 11-2. So Arol scores. And Lawrence aboard at first base with his 2nd hit of the inning.
Well, things have certainly turned around here tonight.
Phil Necro out. See him there in the lower left portion of your screen to visit with the home plate umpire.
Looks like he's checking the lineup card there. I think he's a little sensitive about who's coming in when after their incident at Tinker Air Force Base.
And we have another pinch hitter here, as Charlie Stevens is the new hitter. Stevens will hit for Torres here in the 5th.
I'll tell you an interesting story. I was going through some scrapbooks at home, and I found a real old article from USA Today, and it was on 2 baseball players, 2 high school baseball players, Allison Habits and Leanne Ketchum. Now, this is when I was in high school, and they were my heroes because I read about Beanie, who was pitching in high school and doing very well, and Allison, who was suing her high school, suing her state for the right to play. So it was kind of wild to come across that article. This is before I went to college, and realize that at one point these women were heroines of mine, and then at another point they would be my teammates.
And right now, Habits would say, bring me that article. I need a little help. Any kind of motivation I can to get out of this awful inning. We are in the 5th, and we've been here for quite some time. As the Bullets came into the inning leading 2-1, it's now 11-2. Reno with 10 runs in.
Well, there's no doubt that Allison isn't a pioneer in this sport. In 1987, she became the first girl allowed to play high school baseball in Louisiana, and then went on to be all-district at first base and as a pitcher. She also was the first girl to play American Legion baseball in Louisiana.
A lot of first there. Gives up the walk here to Charlie Stevens. And Mike Bosco, the 2nd baseman, comes up. Bosco singled and scored here earlier in this inning. He hit the ball right back to Davis. And that was probably the play of the game, because at that point, no one had scored. The bases were loaded. Bullets still leading 2-1. And Bosco's hard hopper went off the glove of Davis and allowed 2 to score, and the game hadn't been the same since. Allowed 1 to score, I beg your pardon. But they had a chance for a double play. You're talking 2 outs, still with the lead, 1 runner aboard, rather 2 runners aboard, and the opportunity to get out with 1 more pitch. And instead, things went from bad to worse after that.
You're absolutely right about that, Bill. And I tell you, Tony usually is very solid at shortstop. She's usually a rock over there, and they really exploited her nerves or whatever it may be tonight. They've taken advantage of that part of the field.
Bosco with a 1-2 count. Nobody out in the 5th. And another shot to left center field that falls in front of Kim Bratz. And that'll load the bases up as this one comes home. So Bosco with another base hit.
And the hits keep coming.
Don't they now? Figures with all this classical car action and 50s, 60s music that's going on hot August nights weekend in Reno, the hits keep coming for the Reno Diamonds too. I've got 9 in the inning and 13 for the night. Davis victimized by the first 10. Here is Andy Kosman, and a leaner to him. Right fielder, he singled and drove in a run, and the ball that dropped in front of Marzetta in the 5th. Oh, we are in the 5th, excuse me.
Well, it's worth noting the Reno Diamonds do play the wooden bat league, so they are accustomed to playing with the wood. A lot of times that's an advantage for the Bullets when they come against a team who's used to the lightness and the big bat head of aluminum bats.
This team 44-8. They've won 5 in a row. They've got 10 games remaining in their regular season before they'll have a playoff involving teams from California and Nevada. Got by the third baseman, Sonny. 1 run scores. 2 runs score. Nobody covering third. It gets by Habits. Kimberling backs her up to make a diving stop. So Kosman drives in 2 more with a base hit to left. And the Bullets cannot get an out, leave alone think about getting out of the inning.
When I spoke to some of the players before the game, the Diamond players, they said, you know, we're going to play this like any other game. We are not going to ease up at any point. And they are being true to their word. 13-2, they are not easing up.
12 runs in the inning, 13-2. Bosco stands at third. Kosman is at second. Here's Tommy Mitchell, who's 3 for 3, a single, double, and triple. Pardon me, and you know what that leaves for the cycle. And he's certainly capable of doing that. He shares the home run lead now with 10 with Brian Madison, who homered earlier in this inning. Mitchell's big blow in the earlier part of this inning, a 3-run triple. Pretty well decided this one. This one inside by Habits. Got the corner, though. It's 1-1.
Well, the Reno Diamonds are certainly a great baseball team, and sometimes you just got to tip your hat and say you're doing well. The Diamonds are 93-25 in 2 years of their existence. They're 7 games away from 100-win mark.
Mitchell's 1-1, high, deep, and falls in amongst the fans, and somebody's going to get hurt out there. And in fact, you saw some shoving going on. And it'll be a ground rule double. It brings in 2 more runs and makes it a 15-2 ball game. And Julie, they're going to have to do something. Obviously, and you can't blame the fans entirely, all of them. Where are they going to go?
Right.
The ball's out there. They're trying to get out of the way. They don't have gloves.
Well, we can't really see what's happening out there, but I tell you what, Pam Shaffrath has to be one of the nicest, most passive people I've ever met. To see her in a shoving match there with that player.
Well, the kid's trying to get the ball, which is ridiculous. I mean, you're supposed to be getting out of the way. It's one thing if you collide and the individual's trying to get out of the way. He's trying to grab the ball, and to me, you throw that guy out of here.
Well, I don't know. I might move some of those people out of the outfield as well. That's a real tough situation for your outfielders.
I mean, you want to have the opportunity to give the fans a great time, but in that situation, somebody's going to get hurt. Mitchell, meanwhile, gets RBIs 4 and 5 of the night, 87 for the year now, and he's 4 for 4 with 2 doubles, a triple, and a single. Here is another base hit down the left field line as Reno will make it a 16-2 game, and he's a dead duck. McInerney will run him down. Thank you, Reno, for showing a little mercy. He literally ran into that out.
Nice path to the ball there with Shafrath. And a wise move by McInerney. You see, she's very aggressive here, and that's important when you have a runner caught up in between the bases. You can't hold up and let them determine the pace. You go right after them, make them commit, make them run full speed. If you need to, throw the ball.
16-2 in a 15-run 5th inning as Bruce Madison comes up for the second time. He had the towering home run to left earlier this inning. Right back to Habits. Makes the play for 2 down.
Well, they were a long time coming, but outs 1 and 2 have gone rather quickly.
And that'll bring up Harley Enochson, the left fielder. And Enochson will complete the order, batting twice within this inning. So 17 hitters, 15 runs. And now another meeting amongst the umpires. They may be doing something about the outfield and the fans.
It looks like some of the fans are moving off the field there. I don't know if they're losing interest in the game or if maybe they're saying, hey, let's get off here, let's go to left field line, watch the game from there, get out of Pam's way.
Well, the other thing that would seem to make sense here is that if you're going to put him on the field, put him in right field. We've had one ball on the right field line that there's been nothing, and generally with all the right-handed hitters, the balls are going to go to left field. And
I think that's a very good point, Bill. It's also interesting if you see the fans are down the left field line, right down the foul line, which has got to make it tough on your outfielders. At least put them back up against the wall where there most likely won't be a play.
Tough enough to play this game without any interference out there, particularly when you're in a nightmare inning like the Bullets are in right now. Allison Habits working away here, and a pinch hitter as you're looking at Doug Davis, who is hitting now. Doug Davis, the new hitter.
Doug is fairly young. I understand he's being looked at by several Pac-10 schools, so they may be tuning in tonight to see what he can do. He's a pitcher. He's 6-2 and leads the team with 72 strikeouts.
And Davis has not hit this season. So Shake Cooper, the manager, is taking light of understanding the situation here and putting in some non-hitters. But he's got pretty good speed. He beats that ball out to Heisler. So a base hit for Davis.
She bobbles it here a little bit. Although I must say her arm speed and her arm strength has improved since last year. Again, not in time. In keeping with the rest of this inning.
So here's Bob Arald again. Arald pinch hit earlier in this inning for Mike Crown, and singled and scored. What's new, right?
I'll tell you, I would be willing to bet that this is an all-time worst for the Silver Bullets. I have yet to see them scored upon like this.
Well, the Bullets a few days ago led this one 2-1.
A few days ago.
Here in the 5th inning. And the 19th hitter in the inning, Bob Arald, at the plate, punches it out to right field in front of Angie Marzetta. quickly gets it back in. So Arald, his second hit of the inning.
Marzetta's really come alive as of late in this season. She was really kind of platooning in the beginning of the year, but her hitting is so impressive that she's made a place for herself in the outfield. What's interesting to see is that they've taken Carrie Kropke, an everyday starter, and Shannon Mitchum, who has a great batting average, out of the lineup, and to put in more of a defensive lineup, shall we say.
Lawrence, line drive to left. It'll make it 17-2 as the runner comes home. Davis scoring, and an RBI single for Lawrence. Runners hold at first and second. 2 down in the 5th. That's the good news. Phil Niekro comes out, and apparently enough for Allison Habits.
Here comes Billy Joe Charpy.
We're going to take a break. Is that okay? 17-2, Reno. Welcome back as the Diamonds continue to pour it on with a 17-2 lead in the bottom of the 5th inning. They have had 20 batters come to the plate and scored 16 runs on 12 base hits here in the 5th. There are 2 out, and as a pitching change is being made, Billy Joe Charpy coming in to replace Allison Habits. Interesting story here, and Julie, you certainly were well aware of the background of professional baseball for women. Lillian Ferralla, who played for the South Bend Blue Sox in the All-American Girls League, is here in attendance tonight.
Yeah, apparently Lillian played between the years 1945 and 1951. And I tell you, I send a shout out to all the women who played, because what they really did is they broke ground for the Bullets. If they hadn't existed and Penny Marshall hadn't decided to make a movie about this outstanding league, about these outstanding women, there we have a shot of Lillian, then it is entirely possible that the Silver Bullet players would not have their professional opportunity to play baseball. There's no doubt that this team has capitalized on the popularity of the movie and the popularity of the original league.
Lillian in the light blue, dark blue striped shirt and the visor, the glasses. The fans are cheering. No, the inning hasn't ended. They're cheering because they're moving the fans off the field. And it's unfortunate, but they gave him the opportunity, and one can ruin it for everybody. And that's basically what happened out there with the clown who tried to pick up the ball instead of getting out of the way. And as a result, literally hundreds have to pay the price to leave the field.
It's nice to see women like Lillian out here supporting the Silver Bullets, because women have been in the game of baseball since the turn of the century. They were playing college baseball, believe it or not, at some colleges in the Northeast, such as Smith and Vassar College. And those eventually went away, turned into softball. There were some barnstorming teams early in the turn of the century, but it wasn't until the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League that women's baseball had a valid place in America. And
Julie certainly had the opportunity, as well, to visit the Hall of Fame earlier this year when the Silver Bullets played up at Cooperstown, and they brought a tear to your eye when you saw a picture of yourself there in the women's exhibit at the Hall of Fame, and your old first baseman's mitt there from your high school and college days. That glove looked like it'd been around.
Well, I tell you, I was
probably hard to give up, wasn't it?
I was very attached to that glove, and it tore the day before I left for spring training. I am not making this up. I thought I was going to have a breakdown. So I played with it literally since I was 15 years old. But it's an honor to be in there, and I'll tell you, any athlete lives for the chance to see themselves among the greats, and I'm very flattered to be there.
Here's Charlie Stevens now to face the third pitcher, Billy Joe Charpy, as Stevens pinch hit here in the 5th and walked and scored. Came in for Jerry Torres. 2 out in the 5th, 17-2 in favor of the Reno Diamonds.
Now BJ has an ERA at this point of 3.38.
fouled off down the left field line. Out of play. 1-1. Yeah, the Bullets, this is a team, as you look at them tonight, if it's the first time you've seen them, you'll find it hard to believe that they've lost 11 games by 2 or 1 runs.
They've also lost 6 of those games in late inning play.
Yeah, well, it was a beautiful sunny day here in Reno, but when it rains, it pours. And you'd think Hurricane Aaron somehow came out west tonight when it hit the Bullets here in the 5th inning. They were rolling along with a 2-1 lead. Pamela Davis looked sharp. An unearned run that had given the Diamonds their only score in the 4th inning. And then with the bases loaded and nobody in, nobody out, a ball back to Davis herself. She could not handle it. It allowed a run to score, and then things started to trickle in. Here's a long drive to right center field, and is caught by Bratz out there to end the inning. Thank you, Lord. That ends the 5th. I mean, ends the 5th. 4 more wonderful innings to go. Stay with us. The nightmare comes to an end for the Bullets. I want to remind you the next Silver Bullet TV game will be coming up the 10th of this month as the Bullets head to California. They'll be in Stockton. We hope you tune in and enjoy the action. Check the regional sports network in your area for the time for Silver Bullet baseball. The Bullets getting hammered right now, 17-2. There have been some changes made defensively here after some pinch hitting done as we go to the top of the 6th inning, including a new pitcher. You're looking at Brett Popoff, the new second baseman. Out in left field, Doug Davis is patrolling out there. And you take a look at Davis getting some playing time, normally a pitcher. And there's also a new center fielder as Powinski. Andy Powinski is the new center fielder. And a new pitcher and a new catcher as
a new defense.
Canopsis is the pitcher, Matt Canopsis. And Todd Blackwell, the new catcher. For the Bullets, it's Kim Bratz at the plate.
It's actually
Mitchell the play in time, 1 down. Was that a pinch hitter as well?
Oh, that was
Kim Bratz, all right.
I was actually wondering earlier, Bill, because usually when the Silver Bullets face a team, they are making substitutions every inning. I mean, there's so many players in and out. But the Reno Diamonds really had not done that so far. But I guess now they're comfortable with their lead. And they're going to put the players in, let them get their time on television, let them get their time in front of their friends and family.
Well, I don't think Shake Cooper expected anything like this. And if there's a delay in making some substitutions, he did have 1, 2, 3 pinch hitters in that horrendous 5th inning for the Bullets. So he made some changes there, and then obviously has made some major changes here as he's trying to do the classy thing. Here's Tony Heisler, the shortstop. Heisler 1 for 2. Fouls it off.
Well, Heisler has hit safely in 7 out of her last 9 games. He's had 14 hits in 28 games.
Third pitcher of the night on the mound, Matt Canopsis for the Diamonds. And a strike, strike 3. So Heisler goes down on strikes.
It's like he just has her frozen there. She can't quite pull the trigger. 2 strikes, you got to go after that.
Canopsis now looks at Shannon Kimberling, the catcher for the Bullets. Strike 1.
Well, I think Kimberling has the most offensive power for the Bullets. None of the catchers right now are hitting extremely well. So what Phil and Joe are doing is rotating them. Elizabeth Burnham catches one day, Missy Kress catches the next, then Shannon Kitchen. Kimberling. He's waiting for one of them to step up and show that offensively they can be an addition to the lineup.
By the way, to inform you further here about the obvious blowout at 17-2, and there's strike three. Canopsis has not pitched this year, so Shake Cooper is putting his pitchers into the field. He's having his fielders pitch. He's trying to do whatever he can to move this game along, and certainly the Bullets have to appreciate that. It's been a rough night, 17-2 as we go to the bottom of 6. Diamonds with a 17-2 lead here in Reno after a 16-run 5th inning for the Reno Diamonds. Bill Land and Julie Croteau with you. One of the stars of tonight's game has been Tommy Mitchell, the brother of former Major Leaguer Kevin Mitchell, now in Japan. Tommy enjoyed his time growing up with his brother in their days of playing ball.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun and a lot of competitiveness between the both of us. We both competed on the same level all through our lives, and basically against each other, you know, out in the field. We grab a tennis ball and some bats and we go out there and throw the ball at each other. You know, that's how we basically learn how to hit, playing with each other. You know, it was fun, and it still fun.
Well, it ought to be when you go 4 for 4 with 2 doubles, a triple, and a single, and 5 RBIs, and show a pretty good gun over there at third base as well. Tommy Mitchell came in hitting .469, 4 for 4. We'll bump that up a little bit, and 87 RBIs on the season in this just game number 53 for the Reno Diamonds.
Unbelievable.
Leading things off here, the replacement for Bosco, Brett Popoff, the new second baseman. His first at bat tonight. Popoff
was a student at Southwest Louisiana, and he's transferring to Patton College in Oakland for his senior year. He says he wants to get more playing time there.
Outside.
Popoff is hitting .316. He has 4 doubles.
Brett Popoff lead things off in the 6th. Nice just to say 6th. We were saying 5th for like an hour.
I know, that was pretty horrendous. I tell you though, it's a lot easier to sit up here and to say what should have happened than to be down there and doing it yourself.
It wasn't easy anywhere in that inning.
Yeah. All right, I'll give
I don't care where you are.
It was hard to sit up here.
Unless you're one of the Diamonds. Here's a high pop fly, and Marzetta makes the play. 1 down as Popoff is retired. And I think even after a certain point, the Diamonds didn't even enjoy that inning.
Right.
He'll bring up Andy Kosman. Cody Kosman, I beg your pardon, not Andy. It's Cody Kosman. He's got 3 RBIs on the night. On the mound, Billy Joe Sharpie. Sharpie came in to finally get things retired in the 5th inning, and in fact retired the only hitter she faced, Charlie Stevens, to end the inning. Got Popoff to start things here in the 6th, and now working on Cody Kosman. The 1-0 inside, 2-0.
Now, BJ, or Smiley as we called her in spring training, because she did not say a word. She probably said 10 words in the whole entire month we were there. Worked as a mechanic, a maintenance mechanic, prior to her Silver Bullet career.
Only fitting she should come in and try to fix things for the Bullets right now.
Absolutely.
Get this machine running smoothly again.
In 1990, she led Baptist College softball team in batting average, .392.
Heisler can't handle up the middle, and Kosman is aboard.
I would say that Heisler's having a flashback of a 1994 season, and I tell you, she's played so well this year. She's really taught us and everyone in the Silver Bullet team how important a good shortstop is. This year, tonight, unfortunately, she looks a lot more like the player she was last year than the player she is this year.
Here's Tommy Mitchell. Single, 2 doubles, and a triple. looking for the home run.
Yes,
Strike
he
one.
is. There's the expression swinging from your heels comes from.
Obviously got the same type of swing and stance as brother Kevin. Aboard at first base is Kosman. We're in the sixth, one out. And Mitchell at the plate. Got away from Kimberly, and Kosman will track down to second base.
Well, it would seem as if all the Silver Bullets are very frustrated tonight. No one likes to be out in the field with the score such as it is, 17-2.
But it happens once in a while, and thankfully for the Bullets, it hadn't happened all that often this season. This one again in the dirt. Their worst losses this year. 11-1, the Carolina Bombers back on July 12th. And 10-3 to the Dyersville Sox in their last official game in Geneva, Illinois. They played a shortened game that did not count, 4 innings up in the Metrodome in Minneapolis over the weekend. And they lost 9-0 to the Otsego Max in Cooperstown. But nothing like this thing tonight. In the hole, base hit. Mitchell continues the great night. His second single, he's 5 for 5. Probably mad he didn't get an RBI.
Probably used to it at this point.
Kosman held up at third, and it'll bring up a pinch hitter as Todd Blackwell, who came on to catch for Reno, gets his first at bat here. Todd Blackwell for Reno.
This may be a good time to mention again the open tryout August 6th
Very
in
good
San
time.
Jose, California at Municipal Stadium. Again, you must be 20 years old. You must be female. And the number for more information is 1-800-278-2772. Or you can contact Hope Beckham Incorporated in Atlanta, Georgia.
Bullets always looking to improve and will continue to add players, and looking forward to eventually. They've actually applied already to the Carolina League Single A classification in the National Association of Professional Baseball. And there's I think an 18-month waiting period on any of that anyway. And Bob Hope certainly not dreaming, dreaming a little bit, but not being ridiculous, looking as, hey, if you ever want to get in, you better apply now. To hopefully when you do get accepted, then you then can fit the standards. High pop fly taken by Bratz. Quickly throws home. Kosman not going anywhere, and there's 2 down as Blackwell's retired.
Well, you're right, Bill, and you have to expect with any new team, you have to give them some time to develop. It's not realistic to expect a 2-year team to be a 500 ball club, especially when you're working with all the hurdles that the Bullets have. You don't have a feeder system. You don't have hundreds of thousands of girls playing baseball in Little League and high school and college, unfortunately, although I think the Silver Bullets are changing that.
I hope.
I hope so too, and I think that it's important to keep in mind, especially at times like this, what their purpose is. Their purpose is to open up the game for girls and women, and it is to eventually get a woman into the minor league system and kind of desegregate sports.
Well, as you take a look at the next hitter stepping in, and another new hitter, John Bradley, is the hitter for Brian Madison, the DH, who'd already gone 3 for 4 and homered and driven in 2. This one again in the dirt. Bradley, a pitcher.
Well, it certainly doesn't look like the same ball club in the first couple of innings.
No.
Goes to show you that it is contagious. Attitude is contagious.
0-2 with 2 down here in the 6th. Billy Joe Sharpie's pitch in the dirt. Well, I think Bob Hope had mentioned a story, and he's interviewed virtually everywhere the Bullets go. People want to know about what's going on in the future, and he said not only do they hope to have the Bullets in a Single A classification within 3 or 4 years, but he said hopefully that team then could produce some players that could go play for an all-men's team, but they've got some place where they can start with support and play professionally. Well, Sharpie gets out of it as she strikes out Bradley, and no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and the Bullets lead, unfortunately, trail 17-2. You're watching on your Regional Sports Network. You're watching Silver Bullet Baseball on your Regional Sports Network as the Bullets try to hang in against a very impressive Reno Diamond Ball Club here in Nevada. The Diamonds with a 17-2 lead on a 16-run 5th inning as we go to the top of the 7th inning. And continued substitutions for the Diamonds as Donnie Clark is the new right fielder. Clark taking over in right field for Kosman, as stepping in is Michelle McInerney, and a new third baseman as well here in this inning as Ty Halverson has replaced Mitchell there. So Mitchell leaves on a 5-for-5, 5 RBI night. And back on the mound is Canopsis, Matt Canopsis, for his 2nd inning of work. He got the Bullets in order, including striking out Heisler and Kimberling in the 6th. Here in the 7th, it's 1-1 on McInerney.
We just saw McInerney kind of half-heartedly going after that ball. I think normally she would let that ball go, but a walk at this point does not do that much good.
2-1 to McInerney. Marzetta's on deck. 2-2.
A big cut. Michelle McInerney was actually a kindergarten teacher prior to her professional baseball career, and she told me during spring training that she actually worked out with her kindergartners. She had them just roll balls, and because they had no motor control whatsoever, they would go everywhere, and so she could work on her range. And I think she already had great range going into that, but now she has spectacular range.
So Michelle, if there's any way she can get an edge, she will find it. Tireless worker.
It's funny, you'll hear her refer to her kids, and she's in fact referring to her students, but fans think that she has a lot of children.
She goes down on strikes here to lead things off in the 7th, and Canopsis has struck out 3 in a row. Angie Marzetta comes up, grounded into a double play, grounded back to the pitcher, and popped to the shortstop. 0 for 3 for Angie.
Now, Angie's the only left-hander on the Silver Bullet squad. In fact, she's a switch hitter. She says that she has more power from the right side, but that she's a lot quicker and hits better line drives from the left side.
Out of the University of Washington. Pops it to the shortstop. Nice leaping grab made by Jeff Lawrence.
That's a second well-hit ball to the opposite field that has been taken from her.
5 in a row retired for Canopsis. Yeah, and Marzetta, even though done everything to show for it tonight, is still hitting the ball very well. Johnny Grubb, hitting coach, gives her a slap on the back. Over to hang in there as Stacy Sonny comes to the plate. Stacy, a 3 for 3 night. Single to center, bunted for a base hit, and then a single to left and a stolen base in the 5th. Scored one of the 2 Bullet runs.
Stacy does such a great job, and I can't say it enough, really waiting on the pitch. She gives herself plenty of time to identify the pitch, and of course, as soon as you identify it, you have a better chance of adjusting and hitting it well. She also has great bat speed, which you need to catch up to it.
Patient hitter, keeps the hands back and works at it.
In general, Bill, the longer you can wait, the less chance you're going to be fooled. And she does a great job of doing that.
3-1 now to Stacy. Pam Shafrath is on deck for the Bullets. Down 17-2 in the 7th. Looper out into right field and falls and gets by the right fielder, Donnie Clark, and Sonny into second base. She is safe. It'll be a double for Stacy Sonny. Four for 4 for Sonny.
Great job right there. Textbook swing. Yeah, the right fielder overruns it. Stacy Sonny makes good on that, stretching a single to a double. It's like the umpire is somewhere in center field making that call, but it works for the Bullets.
And that'll bring up Pam Shafrath with 2 out, 1 on in scoring position. Grounder, third baseman Halverson got by the first baseman as Bob Awalt could not come up with it, and the Bullets make it a 17-3 game. There'll be an error on Halverson. Shafrath moves to second.
So he comes up, he pumps the ball, kind of hits his glove with it, and I think a lot of times when fielders do that, they give themselves too long to think about it. Throws it in the dirt. First baseman's got to come up with that for his fielder, but does not in this case. Stacy did a great job, heads up base running, scoring right there.
17-3 and still 2 down, and runner at second base. Tamara Ivy, the first baseman, up.
Now Ivy's made some big adjustments to her stance. She's closed up a little bit. She also has brought her hands down on her own. She's using her hips a lot more to generate some power. I spoke with Johnny Grubb, and he said he likes his athletes to adjust on their own.
To the right side, second baseman there to make the play, and Awald is there as Popoff throws out Ivy, and that ends things here in the top of the 7th inning. But the Bullets pick up a run on a base hit and an error, and they leave a runner. It's 17-3, Diamonds on top. The Bullets make some changes defensively. We'll get to those in a moment. Our game summary, not a pretty story for Bullet fans, as that is not a misprint. 16 runs in the 5th. Led the way as Pamela Davis got tagged for the bulk of those. And the Diamonds had 21 batters at the plate in that 5th inning. Tommy Mitchell, who has since left the game, 5 for 5 with 5 RBIs, the big man in the Diamond lineup. And as we come back here, Lori Guthrow has taken over at second base for Michelle McInerney. And we also have a new pitcher. Christine Manji is the new hurler, the 4th pitcher tonight, replacing Billy Joe Sharpie.
Now, Manji is one of the few pitchers of the Silver Bullet staff whose role is very well defined. She is a pure closer, comes in late innings. Right now, she's 1-1. She has an ERA of 2.57.
And Doug Davis will lead things off here in the 7th against Manji. Davis singled and scored in that big 5th inning when he pinch hit for Harley Enix, the left fielder. Bottom of 7 here in Reno. Manji and the delivery and the hard shot. Ivy to Manji covering. Well, Tamara Ivy, you talk about work paying off. She stood out here for a good 25 minutes. Sun in her face, taking just shots like that from one of the coaches before the game, and she makes good on it.
She's doing a great job defensively. You see right there, the ball kind of comes up, but her footwork is so good that she compensates. Nice toss, nice break by Manji, getting over there in time. I'll tell you, Ivy is an outstanding defensive first baseman. She leads the team in putouts with 178. She only has 2 errors in the entire 95 season.
Manji, hat pulled down over the eyebrow, and Bob Awalt checking it out with 1-0 count here in the bottom of 7.
It's funny, while we have this tight shot of Manji, to notice the scrunchie in her hair. A lot of the women wear these. It's one of the few differences between female baseball players and male baseball players, to keep the hat on, because the hats are too big.
Awalt, high pop fly, deep, and coming in to make it is Shafrath, as she was way back for Awalt, who has good power. Nice running catch by Pam, and there's 2 down.
Well, Shafrath has certainly proved her versatility. She gets a nice break on the ball. Outstanding job.
Brings up Jeff Lawrence, one of the few players that has gone the distance here for the Diamonds. Number 9 hitter. He is 3 for 4, all singles. Got 2 RBIs.
Now it's worth noting that Manji has only had 3 innings of work in the last month. She, much like most of her pitching counterparts, has had a lot of problems with her arm. So she's newly back. I think she's a good pitcher and a rookie to watch because she throws strikes. She has good control and she stays in the zone. Hits her spots very well.
Tough shot to Heisler, or the new shortstop. I think that's Mitchum. And Shannon Mitchum makes a great play. That was an in-between hard hop, and she throws out Lawrence to end the 7th inning. 3 up, 3 down. How's that sound? Well, probably don't know because we haven't said it in a while. We'll be back. Silver Bullets down 17-3. Well, can't blame it on a full moon. That's not the problem here in Reno. What a great looking shot as the fans have enjoyed themselves here this evening despite a game that got out of hand in the 5th. Here's Bill Blizzard. Pretty impressive numbers. 7-0 for the Diamonds. ERA 3.45. And Blizzard comes on as the 4th pitcher.
Well, Blizzard has the most inning pitched for the Diamonds. He's thrown 81.6 innings and only walked 14 batters. That's an impressive stat, and it will be particularly effective against the Bullets since they are a walking ball club.
And to lead things off, it's Kara Kogenauer, the designated hitter. Kara has walked and scored a run, struck out and grounded out. Bill Lamb and Julie Croto with you here in Reno, in the top of the 8th, 17-3 Reno. Kogenauer to right field, back, and a nice one-handed running grab made that time by Donnie Clark. Well, he let one get by him earlier, but he caught up with that one, and there's one out as Kogenauer's retired.
We see him smiling in right field. I don't think he thought that was possible. Kogenauer gets all of that ball. Nice job. What she's really good for is turning those outfielders around, making them respect the other women, backing up and giving the Silver Bullets room to hit those singles and those doubles that drop in front of the outfielders. Because as you know, a lot more hits drop in front of you than go over your head.
Here's Kim Bratz as Blizzard puts one upstairs.
Now, Bratz is a nice story. She was my roommate last year. She actually her season was ended prematurely with a serious back injury. She left about halfway into the season. And to be honest, I did not think she would be back. And along with my other teammates, we thought it was a career-ending injury. She had surgery, worked so hard in the offseason doing her rehab, and has come back to be an impact player.
Next one, and a called strike. 2-2 now. To Kim Bratz, came in hitting 194. She's got a base hit tonight, walked and grounded out. Blizzard's pitch, driven to center field. Kowalski is there to make the out, 2 down.
They certainly appear to be hitting Blizzard fairly well, making good, strong contact.
Shannon Mitchum, inserted for Tony Heisler, will now hit for the first time tonight. She made that nice defensive play to end things in the bottom of the 7th. Mitchum comes in hitting 197 with 4 RBIs.
Well, Mitchum is definitely the versatile player of the Silver Bullets. She makes her money in the fact that she can move in. She can come into shortstop, come into third, come into the outfield, and do what needs to be done. She says the toughest part of this has been the mental adjustment. She was a 4-year starter at Florida State University at third base and is not used to moving around. But that physically, she thinks that she's fine in all the positions.
Well, and we've seen her make good plays in the outfield, whether it's be right or left, whether it's been, I should say, or third base when she's filled in for Sonny when Stacy's been hurt. And then here tonight in a situation where it's really hard to keep your concentration at all, and you're plugged into a game that's 17-3, and she makes an excellent pickup.
Well, she's an everyday player. And it's surprising. I was actually surprised earlier to see her not in the lineup.
Shannon with the 3-2 count from the pitcher Bill Blizzard. 2 down in the top of the 8th. Inside, got her on the heat, and that retires the side. So Blizzard has a 1-2-3 inning, and the Bullets trailing 17-3. We go to the bottom of 8 here in Reno.
Does your back ache?
Reno, Nevada, the site of Silver Bullet baseball tonight. Moving to the bottom of the 8th, and the Diamonds of Reno putting it on Colorado 17-3. And no matter how you put it up there, it doesn't look good if you're a Bullets fan. And it has been one long night after a 16-run, 15-hit 5th inning for the Diamonds. Christine Manji back on the hill for her 2nd inning of work. Retired the side in order in the 7th. Goes back to the top of the lineup for the Diamonds now. The Bullets led in this game 2-0 with single runs in the 2nd and 3rd. The Diamonds got an unearned run in the 4th, and then the roof caved in the 5th. And here we are in the bottom of 8. And to lead things off, Andy Perwanski. Perwanski, place of Charlie Stevens in center field.
Perwanski again, another University of Nevada athlete who's transferring to Southern Colorado. He is a pitcher for the Diamonds, and his first win came actually Tuesday night. It was 9-8 victory at the Nevada Yankees.
Trying to do it with the stick here, puts it in the hole. Mitchum, and it got away from Ivy. Shannon went a long way, steadied herself to make the long throw, came up a little short, and Ivy just could not stretch out and hang on.
Well, that's a tough play for any shortstop, especially the Silver Bullet shortstops, because their arms are not as strong. When she goes into the hole like that, she really kind of has to catch herself up and throw only with her arm as opposed to her whole body. Ivy, nice stretch, loses the ball out of her glove. You'll find, or I found last year as a first baseman, the further you get into the season, the more these arms tire and the more wild throws you have to look for and be ready for.
E6, and brings up Brett Popoff.
Now, as a first baseman, I kind of wonder about that, because technically, yes, it is the error, but that throw you should have.
Popoff to the third baseman, Sonny, and then McEnany. Guthrow, I beg your pardon. Lori Guthrow, the new second baseman, makes the put out, and there's one down as Perwanski is retired.
Well, I'll tell you, if they ever have individual inductions or there's ever a Women's Baseball Hall of Fame, my money is on Stacey Sonny. She has made some major league plays over there this year. Her arm speed has increased 50% since last year. It looked like that throw maybe was a little too hot for Lori to handle. It should have been a double play.
Here's Donnie Clark, his first time at bat. This one gets by Sonny and by Mitchum, and it'll be a base hit out into left field. So 1 down, 2 aboard here in the bottom of the 8th for the Diamonds, as Clark gets the base hit. Clark, a pitcher who would come in throwing 35 innings, 2.06 ERA. And another first-time hitter tonight, Ty Halverson, who took over for Mitchell, who left after a 5-for-5 night, gets his first shot at the Bullet pitching. Ty Halverson. Halverson starts off 0-1. Halverson also a pitcher. Fouls it off. 0-2.
I think Manji has such a low ERA because she throws strikes. She has a great command over the pitches she does throw, and she doesn't get nervous. You cannot tell a difference visibly when you watch her pitch when there's runners on as opposed to when there aren't any runners on. She's very composed.
0-2 the situation. Ty Halverson, the hitter, fouls this one back as well. 17-3, bottom of 8. The crowd that was well over 3,000 that packed this place tonight. In fact, earlier they're out on the field. The bulk of them, I would say a good 2,500, have stuck around.
Yeah, it is a very impressive crowd considering the score. I tell you, the Silver Bullets do not have trouble keeping crowds and getting crowds.
Here at Moana Stadium, the home of the Diamonds. In the dirt, 1-2. Out at second is Popoff. At first is Donnie Clark. Manji's pitch. Some fans said it all. Come on, Blue. Thinking, what are you thinking now, Mr. Umpire? You know, don't you widen your zone just a bit?
You think unless he's getting paid hourly.
Well, you say, well, the Bullets didn't want any favors, so we won't give him any. This one definitely a ball, and it's 3-2. You're down 17-3. You aren't quibbling over balls and strikes, though. Halverson, the hitter. On deck is Todd Blackwell. And there's your makeup call. It's strike 3.
That's a nice location.
Was a pretty good pitch.
Yeah, it was. Great pitch.
So Manji gets her first strikeout of the night.
Low and away, I tell you, they cannot do much damage there. It's a great location in that situation.
So with 2 down, brings up Todd Blackwell.
It's like Manji's leaving the ball up a little bit, and you see these guys fouling the ball back, and it looks like they're having a little trouble, although I don't want to hex anything, getting on top of that high pitch. I think they're used to seeing the lower pitching.
I don't know, you could think that after
Well, this inning,
16-run
I should
inning.
qualify this inning, these last 2 at-bats.
And there's a looper out into center field. Bullet fans, you can blame Julie Croteau for the 18th run coming home here. Blackwell with a base hit and the RBI.
All right, that's me. I'll take that one.
Popoff scores, and Clark moves to third. Here's John Bradley, the DH. Bradley struck out in his only appearance in the 6th. John Bradley. Well, you know one thing, these Reno Diamond pitchers are just loving the fact that they've been inserted into the game to hit and to play in the field. And the pitchers get a night off, and the hitters have been throwing. As first off, it was Matt Canopsis, and they went back to a regular pitcher, Bill Blizzard.
Well, I think, and I know a lot of the pitchers on this team are very good hitters, but pitchers in general, especially the ones who aren't allowed to hit, are convinced that it is not that difficult of a skill and that they are much better hitters than they are. So it's interesting to see them actually get a chance to do so.
Bradley is 6-1 on the mound, but has not been in the lineup as a everyday player. Mitchum, a tough hop that goes right over the head of Shannon Mitchum, and another run comes in to make it 19-3. Not much Shannon could do about that ball, and Bradley will get a base hit.
Shortstop seems to be some sort of black hole this evening for the Silver Bullets.
Boy, I guess. Clark scored on the play. Blackwell to second. And Doug Davis for his 3rd appearance. He is singled and scored a run. Grounded out. This one got away, then bounced up and hit Kimberling. You talk about somebody who's probably had enough tonight. Shannon Kimberling. How'd you like to be the catcher in that 16-run, 15-hit, 2-day inning? known as the fifth, and still around.
I have long thought the catchers do not get the credit they deserve. It has to be the toughest job out there. But a night like this, she deserves special credit.
And she's done a pretty good job.
She has.
There has not been much to get by her. Base hit up the middle. 20-3. Is coming in to score on the play, Blackwell, and an RBI for Davis. So 20-3 here in the 8th, and Manji trying to end this inning.
Well, I can see Manji, she's fiddling kind of with a necklace around her neck. It's a nice story. Her father actually passed away 2 weeks before she showed up to spring training. She wears a necklace across to remind her of her father. And he gives her strength, she says, when things aren't going so well.
Well, it worked there. A pop fly to Lori Guthrow ends the 8th inning as the Bullets now trail at 20-3. You're watching Colorado Silver Bullet Baseball on your regional sports network. The Diamonds missed an extra point. It's 20-3. Bullets on the short side as we go to the top of the 9th. Bill Land and Julie Croteau with you. And the Bullets, last opportunity. And leading things off will be Shannon Kimberling for the Colorado Silver Bullets. And then Lori Guthrow and Angie Marzetta.
Well, this may be a good time to highlight some of the statistics, some of the places where the Silver Bullets have improved. They've scored 92 runs this season, as opposed to 76 last year. They've stolen 25 bases, as opposed to 9 in '94. And they've only been shut out 3 times. And I'm sorry to say we were shut out 16 times last year. So the team really has improved. Tonight is not a good showing for them.
Here's the pitch and the strike call. 0-2. Well, Shannon, it's called you better not take at this stage of the game.
Right.
Whether you're on the plus or the minus side, you better be swinging. And she is, and goes down on strikes. So the second strikeout for Bill Blizzard, the 4th pitcher. Shake Cooper was the starter. The manager went 4 innings. Then Rick Vaughter came on, followed by Matt Canopsis. Here's Lori Guthrow coming up for the Bullets.
Lori's hitting 143. She's only had 7 at-bats with 1 hit. She's had 3 walks and 4 strikeouts for the Bullets.
The 1-0 inside, 2-0 to Guthrow.
Lori actually made the inaugural team, but was released 3 weeks into the season. Only played in 1 game. This year she's been in 14 games.
Lives in Pensacola, Florida. Born in the Philippines. 1 down in the 9th. 20-3. Diamonds and Blizzard. 3-2 now. 3-2 with 1 out here in the 9th. And Marzetta, the on-deck hitter. I beg your pardon, not 3-2.
Lori's an outstanding person. She has an incredible work ethic. Goes out there every day, works as hard as she possibly can, lifts weights in her room.
Strike 3 and throw down to first to confirm it. 2 down. It'll bring up Angie Marzetta, who's had a tough night, not gotten any luck at the plate. Hit a hard ball in the hole in the first inning that ended up being a double play. And she also lined out to the shortstop Lawrence her last time up. One 1-0 to Marzetta.
Well, I wouldn't want to be in the dugout, or excuse me, in the clubhouse tonight.
No, and not only that, as Marzetta bounces it to the second baseman pop-off, and that ends the game. Bullets didn't have any luck in the casinos here either, so it ain't going to be a fun bus ride to Oakland.
Reno will not be a fond memory.
No. And give the Reno Diamonds credit, and they've got a heck of a ball club, and they put it on the Bullets tonight. 20-3 was the final score tonight here in Reno as the Bullets beaten soundly. We'll be back to talk about it. Stay with us. Long night in Reno for the Colorado Silver Bullets as the Bullets give up 16 in the 5th inning, a 15-hit inning. 21 batters came to the plate for the Diamonds, and they go on to a 20-3 stomping of the Silver Bullets. Rick Vaughter, who pitched just an inning, got the victory. He's now 3-0. The starter was Davis, she the loser at 2-5. Tommy Mitchell, the big hero of many, 5 for 5 with a triple, 2 doubles, and a pair of singles, and 5 RBIs for the brother of Kevin Mitchell, who made his own name here this evening. And the Diamonds improve on the year to 45-8. The Bullets drop to 7-24, losing their 3rd in a row. It was one long night.
It sure was. I tell you, the Diamonds are certainly an outstanding ball club, and sometimes you have to tip your hat. 20 hits is impressive no matter who you're playing. I tell you, there were some bright spots. Davis looked good for a while. Stacy Sonny, 4 for 4. Outstanding defense and aggressive base running.
And the Bullets again lose 20-3. We'll be back with a final comment. Stay with us here in Reno, Nevada. Bullets lose 20-3 in Reno. I want to remind you our next televised game of Silver Bullet Baseball comes up on August the 10th. Join us from Stockton, California for Bullet Baseball. For Julie Croteau, this is Bill Land. Hope you enjoyed the action. If not, the outcome, saying so long from Reno. Our final again, 20-3.